There's a rhythm beneath everything. It's not just your heartbeat, not just breath or biology. It's something deeper, quieter, but always there. I call it the pulse. At first, I didn't notice it. Like most of us, I moved through life distracted, disconnected, from myself, from others, from the spaces I inhabited. But the pulse was there anyway, whispering in moments of stillness, echoing in the way a room felt before a word was spoken, tugging gently during conversations, transitions, and quiet heartbreaks. This book is about learning to feel it again. The pulse within is part personal awakening, part energetic guide, part mirror held up to the hidden language of life. It's about how emotions move, how environments speak, how other people's energy gets under your skin, and how to reclaim your own. We'll move through stories, sensations, and science. I'll tell you what cracked me open, what nearly shut me down, and what finally brought me back to myself. You don't need to be spiritual, sensitive, or even sure of yourself to read this. You just need to be curious. Because if you've ever walked into a room and just known something was off, if you've ever felt overwhelmed by nothing, if you've ever wondered why certain people drain you and others light you up, you're already halfway here. Written and published by Mindful Literary, this book is an invitation to reconnect with the energy you've always felt, but maybe never had the words for. So let's slow down. Tune in. The pulse is waiting. Introduction, Feeling the Pulse. My awakening. It all started unexpectedly one quiet evening when I felt a strange sensation ripple through me, almost like a gentle pulse echoing inside my chest. At first, I thought it was just my imagination or a momentary feeling of restlessness, but then I noticed that everything around me seemed sharper, more alive. Colors appeared more vibrant, sounds clearer, and even my thoughts felt more focused and resonant. That unexplainable energy wasn't just a fleeting feeling. It transformed my perception, making me realize that there was more to life than what I had been conditioned to see. This moment carried a kind of vibrancy that I couldn't quite explain, like a surge of unseen yet profoundly felt force that shifted the way I viewed the world and myself. After that moment, it was as if my senses peeled back a layer of illusion, revealing a subtle but powerful presence influencing everything around us. This experience made me more aware of the invisible energies that flow through our lives, those that guide our choices, shape our moods, and even determine the opportunities that come our way. I started noticing how certain places gave off different vibes, how specific situations seemed to be influenced by unseen forces, and how my own feelings could be affected by this energetic flow. It became clear that what I once considered mere coincidence or random happenstance was, in many cases, being guided by these subtle yet significant influences. Recognizing this opened a new door for me, one where I could start tuning in more consciously to what was happening beneath the surface of everyday life. This awakening wasn't about mystical mystique or abstract concepts, but about understanding that life itself is interconnected through these delicate forces. For example, I began paying attention to my intuition in decisions, realizing that a gut feeling sometimes carried more weight than logical reasoning. Noticing these subtle cues helped me make better choices, nurture deeper relationships, and become more aware of my surroundings. I also saw how energy fields could be affected by our emotions. Positive feelings like gratitude or love seemed to radiate outward, creating a ripple effect, while negative emotions like fear or anger felt like dense shadows blocking the natural flow. Recognizing these influences encouraged me to cultivate more mindful awareness of my thoughts and feelings, knowing they weren't just internal experiences, but part of a larger, interconnected energy web. This realization gave me a sense of empowerment, enabling me to consciously shift my mindset and observe how my internal state could influence my external reality. Understanding this dynamic opened my eyes to the possibility that we aren't merely passive recipients of life's circumstances, but active participants in shaping our reality through our intentions and perceptions. Small daily practices like mindfulness, breathing exercises, or simply paying attention to my surroundings helped me deepen this awareness. For instance, I learned that consciously sending out positive intentions could subtly influence the energy around me, attracting opportunities and people that aligned with my authentic self. By tuning into this subtle energy, life began to feel more vibrant, meaningful, and connected. It became clear that strengthening this awareness, becoming more receptive to these unseen forces, could enhance every aspect of life, from health and relationships to personal growth and spiritual insight. Recognizing the power of these influences reminded me that, even in the chaos, there's always an undercurrent of unseen but meaningful energy shaping our experiences. Keeping that in mind can help you develop your own sensitivity to the energies at play and begin to harness them intentionally for your growth. A practical tip to deepen your awareness involves dedicating a few moments each day to quiet observation. Find a comfortable space, take slow, deliberate breaths, and focus on how you feel, physically, emotionally, and mentally. Notice if there's a particular energy or vibe in the environment, within yourself, or in your interactions. Over time, this practice can gradually sharpen your perception of these subtle forces, allowing you to align more consciously with the flow of life's energies. Whether it's through meditation, journaling, or simply paying more mindful attention to your surroundings, becoming attuned to these influences can open new pathways for personal development and a more fulfilling experience of life. What is the pulse? Energy is something we often sense but rarely see. It flows through everything around us, people, places, objects, and acts like an undercurrent that influences how we feel and behave. Imagine it as an unseen current, like the wind that you can't see but can feel on your skin. This invisible force links us all in ways that aren't always obvious but are definitely real. When you walk into a room, you might instinctively feel whether it's tense or relaxed. That's energy at work. It's a powerful, silent presence that shapes our daily experiences and interactions, but isn't tangible in the usual sense. Throughout history, many cultures have recognized this energetic fabric that connects everything. Conceptually, it's similar to how gravity pulls objects toward each other, but instead of a physical force, this energy influences emotions, thoughts, and atmospheres. This invisible glue extends beyond individual interactions to the larger universe, binding galaxies, stars, and planets in an intricate web. Think of energy as a universal language that communicates without words or physical contact, transmitting feelings and intentions across vast distances. Learning to recognize and understand this energetic flow can reveal a lot about ourselves and the world around us. In everyday life, we often overlook the power of this unseen force, but becoming aware of it opens a new level of consciousness. Whether you're feeling anxious in a cluttered space or rejuvenated in a peaceful garden, you're reacting to the energy present in those environments. This awareness can serve as a foundation for navigating life more consciously, whether by selecting spaces that lift your spirits or understanding how your own energy impacts others. It's like tuning into a universal radio frequency that, once heard clearly, can help you align more intentionally with the experiences and connections you desire. The energies we absorb and emit play a crucial role in shaping our emotional landscape and, over time, our identity. Every interaction and environment leaves an imprint on our personal energy field. For example, being around positive, uplifting people can elevate your mood and reinforce confidence, while negative environments can sap your vitality and foster self-doubt. These influences aren't always obvious at first glance, but they accumulate, gradually steering how we think, react, and even see ourselves. Our habits and beliefs often form as a response to these energetic influences, creating a pattern that defines our personality and outlook on life. Imagine your energy as a kind of personal signature, unique to you but also shaped by external forces. When you're continuously exposed to certain emotions, say fear or joy, your internal energy state begins to mirror those feelings. Over time, this creates a feedback loop that can either empower you or hold you back. For instance, regularly engaging in stressful environments without taking time to reset can cause your energy to become unbalanced, leading to feelings of burnout or resentment. Conversely, cultivating environments filled with love and gratitude amplifies positive energy, reinforcing traits like kindness and resilience. In this way, our inner world is a reflection of the energies we surround ourselves with, consciously or unconsciously. By understanding this relationship, you can start to actively manage the energies you allow in your life. Simple practices such as mindful breathing, setting clear intentions, or grounding yourself in nature help to clear negative influences and restore your inner balance. Recognizing that your feelings are often influenced by external energies empowers you to select environments and relationships that nurture your growth. In turn, this process gradually shapes who you are, more aligned, more authentic, and more in tune with the universal flow of energy that pulses through everything. Paying attention to your own energetic state is one of the most effective ways to influence your feelings and, ultimately, your sense of self. Why it matters? Understanding how energies influence our thoughts, feelings, and life paths turns out to be both powerful and accessible. These energies are always present, quietly shaping our experiences in ways we might not realize. For example, a persistent feeling of frustration might stem from an underlying energy imbalance, like a blocked flow of personal power or unresolved emotional tension. Recognizing the influence of these subtle energies allows us to take more control over our emotional landscape, rather than feeling like victims of circumstance. It is like learning to tune an instrument, gradually refining our internal harmony to produce a more balanced and fulfilling life. When we acknowledge that our thoughts and emotions are echoes of this energetic flow, we can start to consciously work with them, shifting what's within to create different experiences outwardly. Many practical steps can help us harness this knowledge. First, start paying close attention to your daily feelings and bodily sensations, noting any recurring patterns or triggers. Second, incorporate simple practices such as mindful breathing, visualization, or energy grounding exercises to recalibrate your internal state. Third, keep a journal where you document shifts in your mood or clarity after practicing these techniques, helping you recognize which approaches work best for you. Remember, this journey isn't about perfection but about curiosity and persistence. By routinely tuning into your internal energy, you develop a kind of inner radar that alerts you when things are out of sync. This awareness can then guide you toward actions or thoughts that realign your energy, helping you navigate life's challenges with a more grounded, centered mindset. In time, you may find that understanding and working with these energies becomes second nature, empowering you to craft a more intentional and vibrant life. The vibe. Sharing stories of discovery creates a natural, open atmosphere where genuine connection can flourish. When someone talks about moments of realization or subtle shifts in their awareness, it taps into a universal experience. These stories serve as gentle invitations for others to reflect on their own journeys, encouraging a sense of belonging and curiosity. As we listen, we begin to recognize patterns in how our energy feels during different moments, whether it's a rush of excitement, a calming clarity, or a flicker of nervousness. Creating this space means letting go of any expectations or judgments, allowing ourselves to be fully present to these shared experiences. The more we open up about our discoveries, the more comfortable we become with tuning into our personal energy pulses, which can feel like whispers or vibrations inside us. Over time, this shared storytelling becomes a bridge that helps us understand the subtle signals our bodies offer, fostering a relaxed environment where feeling our own energy becomes second nature. Expressing my desire to help you tune into the energetic currents flowing within you is rooted in the belief that everyone has an innate ability to feel and interpret their internal energy. Often we go through life ignoring these signals because they seem subtle or unrelated to everyday activities. By guiding you to pay closer attention, I want to help you start noticing the small shifts, how your body reacts to different thoughts, environments, or emotions. This process begins with small practices, like pausing momentarily during the day to check in with how you're feeling physically and emotionally. As you start recognizing these sensations, you'll notice the currents moving through you more clearly, like gentle waves or tingling sensations that point to your internal state. Over time, becoming familiar with these energetic streams can lead to more conscious choices, deeper emotional awareness, and a sense of alignment in your daily life. My goal is to support you in finding a personal connection to your energy, making it a guiding compass rather than a hidden mystery. Once you begin to notice your energy flows, you can learn to work with them instead of feeling overwhelmed or disconnected. Simple practices like breath awareness, mindful movement, or even listening to your body's reactions in different situations can serve as effective tools. For example, taking a few deep breaths when feeling anxious can help shift the energetic pattern from tightness to openness. Similarly, paying attention to moments of heightened excitement or calm can reveal how your energy changes in response to your surroundings. This awareness becomes a foundation for developing a more attuned relationship with yourself, where your internal rhythm influences your decisions and reactions. Remember, tuning into your energy doesn't require complex techniques. Sometimes, just a few quiet moments in your day can reveal a wealth of information about how you're truly feeling inside. By actively practicing this connection, you can turn sensation into insight, helping you navigate life with greater clarity and confidence. Chapter 1. My First Spark. My Encounter. One memory that sticks with me vividly is the day I felt completely weighed down by stress and exhaustion. I was rushing through my usual busy routine, tired after a long week, and suddenly, a stranger on the street stopped me. Without asking for anything in return, they offered a genuine smile and a kind word that caught me off guard. Their simplicity, their sincerity, and the warmth in their eyes seemed to cut through my fatigue and instantly lifted my mood. That small act of kindness transformed my entire day, reminding me that even strangers can impact us deeply when they show simple human compassion. It was as if a tiny spark of light broke through the clouds of my stressful mind and made everything feel manageable again. This experience illustrates something often overlooked. Energy isn't just some fleeting or mystical force, but something observable and real, carried and exchanged in our everyday interactions. When we think about energy, many tend to imagine it as something mysterious or reserved for grand moments. But in reality, it manifests in simple exchanges, a warm greeting, a comforting gesture, or even a supportive glance. If you notice how a contagious smile can brighten a room, or how a kind word can shift someone's entire outlook, you begin to see tangible proof that our emotions and states are deeply connected to the energy we give and receive. These exchanges happen constantly and subtly, shaping our mood, influencing our relationships, and even affecting our daily performance. Recognizing this helps us understand that the energy we send out and absorb through interactions isn't vague. It's measurable in how we feel and behave. The psychology of feeling. Our brains are constantly working behind the scenes to interpret and respond to the energy we experience. When we talk about energy here, it's not about physical power, but rather the subtle currents of emotion, thought, and physical sensation that ripple through us. Scientific research, including the work of Daniel Goleman, sheds light on how our emotional system processes these signals. Goleman emphasizes that emotions aren't just fleeting feelings. They are powerful signals that help our brains evaluate situations quickly and decide how to respond. When you feel energized, anxious, or drained, your brain is interpreting subtle shifts in internal and external stimuli and adjusting your mental and physical responses accordingly. Goleman's insights reveal that our interpretation of energy is deeply linked to emotional awareness. For example, when you walk into a room and sense tension, your brain is picking up micro-expressions, tone of voice, and body language that signal emotional states. These cues are processed rapidly by neural circuits in the limbic system, which governs emotional responses. This process happens so quickly that we often aren't aware of how our perceptions shape our feelings or reactions. Understanding this means recognizing that energy, in terms of emotional signals, is not just a background current, but a vital piece of information that our brain uses to guide behavior. This awareness gives us the ability to tune into our internal signals, helping us understand what's happening beneath the surface of our conscious thoughts. Furthermore, brain science supports the idea that energy responses aren't solely reactions, but are also influenced by past experiences. For instance, if you've experienced trauma before, certain situations might trigger heightened energy levels that weren't necessarily appropriate to the current context. Conversely, positive experiences can boost your sense of well-being and vitality. Our brains learn to associate specific cues with feeling good or bad, shaping how we interpret energetic states. By understanding the neural pathways involved, we can see how shifts in our mental focus or physical state can modify our energy responses. Harnessing this knowledge allows us to intentionally intervene, through breathing, mindfulness, or activity, to recalibrate our emotional energy and respond more adaptively to our environment. Recognizing that our brains are constantly reading and reacting to energetic cues opens doors to managing those signals more intentionally. Simple practices like mindfulness or body awareness exercises help us become more attuned to our internal states. For example, focusing on your breath can slow down the rapid-fire signals in your nervous system, reducing feelings of anxiety and restoring balance. Similarly, paying attention to physical sensations such as muscle tension or relaxation can inform you about your current energetic state. When you grasp how your brain interprets signals from your body and environment, you gain a powerful tool for self-regulation. This understanding reveals that controlling your energy isn't about controlling external circumstances, but about tuning your internal signals and how your brain responds to them. By integrating science with personal experience, you start to see how your perception of energy shapes your entire outlook. When you notice your internal cues early, you can intervene before feelings escalate or dissipate. For example, recognizing the first signs of fatigue or stress enables you to choose strategies like stretching, mindful breathing, or brief rest. Over time, this heightened awareness can shift your default responses, leading to a more balanced and resilient emotional state. What's especially empowering about understanding the neurobiology of feeling is that it emphasizes your role in shaping your experience. Instead of being at the mercy of external stimuli, you can actively influence how energy flows through you. By shifting attention, adjusting your posture, or modulating your thoughts, and in doing so, improve both your mental clarity and emotional stability. In practical terms, a simple tip is to start paying close attention to the quality of your energy throughout the day. Notice patterns. Are there times when you feel more vibrant or sluggish? Are certain environments or interactions draining or energizing? Keeping a brief journal can help you identify triggers and learn what shifts your energetic state in positive directions. This ongoing awareness creates a feedback loop that strengthens your ability to manage feelings effectively, turning insights from neuroscience into everyday tools. The more you practice tuning into your internal signals and understanding their roots, the better equipped you are to navigate life's ups and downs with calm confidence. Over time, this cultivates a greater sense of agency over your emotional landscape, making feeling not just a passive experience, but an active one you can shape consciously. From this vantage point, managing your energetic states becomes less about fighting your feelings and more about understanding their origins. Whether it's gratitude, challenge, or fatigue, each energetic vibration carries meaning. Learning to read those signals accurately makes a difference, especially when combined with a clear awareness of your mental and physical patterns. This approach transforms feeling from a random tide into a navigable map, one where each signal points to something meaningful about your current state. Practicing this kind of internal listening can lead to more grounded decision-making, healthier interactions, and a richer experience of living. Remember, your brain is constantly interpreting energy, and mastering this process turns that interpretation into a powerful tool for growth and resilience. The invisible web. From the moment we wake up until we go to sleep, we are constantly influenced by energies we often don't see or even realize are around us. These energies come from people we interact with, places we spend time in, and even the environment at large. For instance, walking into a crowded room might leave you feeling drained or anxious, even if nothing explicit was said or done. It's as if an invisible force is seeping into us, affecting our mood, thoughts, and behaviors without us even noticing. Our emotional states, for example, can shift suddenly, not always because of what we consciously think, but because of these energies that penetrate our energetic field like a gentle tide washing in and out throughout the day. Recognizing this helps us become more aware of our own feelings and reactions, making it easier to differentiate between what belongs to us and what's coming from outside sources. These subtle energies are often compared to invisible currents, flowing from others and environments, shaping our experiences in quiet but impactful ways. Some energies might bring positivity, lifting our spirits and inspiring us, while others can create feelings of heaviness, confusion, or agitation. Think about how you might feel after being in a heated argument, or after spending hours in a place filled with sorrow or anger. Sometimes, merely being around certain people or in specific locations can leave a lingering sense of discomfort, even when there's no obvious reason. The key is that these energies are native to the unseen realm of our existence. They're not tangible in the way physical objects are, but their effects are very real. Our bodies and minds act as receivers and transmitters of this energy, constantly absorbing and responding to the subtle vibrations that flow all around us, often without our awareness. Understanding how these energies influence us opens the door to taking more control over our emotional and physical well-being. By learning to sense and interpret these subtle currents, we can develop greater sensitivity to our surroundings and better protect ourselves from negativity. Simple practices like grounding, shielding, or setting clear boundaries can help us manage what energies we're exposed to without feeling overwhelmed. For example, taking a few deep breaths and visualizing a protective light around you before entering a challenging environment can act as a barrier, reducing the influx of unwanted energies. Being mindful of how different places and people affect your internal state can empower you to make conscious choices about where to spend your time and with whom. Ultimately, awareness of these unseen influences allows us to navigate daily life with more clarity, fostering a sense of balance and inner peace despite the constant flux of external energies. Our lives are woven into a complex network of energetic connections that stretch far beyond what we can see. Imagine this as an invisible spider web, with threads linking us to other people, places, animals, and even objects. These connections are not fixed. They are ever-changing, influenced by our actions, emotions, and intentions. When we interact with others, we exchange more than words or gestures. We also share energy. Sometimes that exchange lifts us up, filling us with warmth and joy, while at other times, it drains us or leaves us feeling stuck. Each encounter leaves a subtle imprint on our energetic field, contributing to this broader web that we are continuously part of, whether we realize it or not. This web extends into places we visit, carrying the energetic imprints of everyone who has been there before. Think of walking into a room and immediately sensing a strange or heavy atmosphere. That is the web holding the energy of previous occupants, their emotions, even their unresolved conflicts. Over time, this web becomes a complex reservoir of frequencies, some harmonious and others discordant. We are constantly moving within this web, sometimes feeling grounded and centered, other times feeling pulled in different directions. Recognizing this interconnected web encourages us to become more intentional about where we spend our time and what environments we choose to be in. It also highlights the importance of clearing energetic clutter periodically, so our own state remains clear and unaffected by accumulated influences from our surroundings and interactions. Our relationships are perhaps the most significant parts of this web. Every emotional exchange, whether positive or negative, forms an energetic thread connecting us. When we hold on to resentment or anger, we create thick, tangled knots in this web, making it harder to move freely and feel at peace. Conversely, acts of forgiveness and love help untangle these knots, restoring flow and harmony. Learning to sense this web can help us identify these knots and choose whether to release them or strengthen supportive connections. Techniques such as energy shielding, meditation, and visualization can serve as tools to maintain the integrity of this web, ensuring it remains a source of strength rather than a factor of confusion or imbalance. Ultimately, becoming aware of this interconnected web allows us to manage our energies more consciously, fostering healthier relationships and environments that support our well-being. Your turn. Thinking back, I realized that the last time I experienced a sudden shift in my energy was during a busy afternoon when I suddenly felt overwhelmed and drained without any clear reason. My motivation plummeted, focus blurred, and I found it difficult to complete even simple tasks. This unexpected drop in energy didn't just affect my productivity, it also altered my mood, making me feel irritable and anxious. Recognizing these moments is essential because they serve as signals that something inside me is changing, whether it's stress, emotional upheaval, or physical fatigue. Paying attention to when these shifts happen can be the first step in understanding how your energy operates on a daily basis. Becoming aware of these moments is a simple but powerful tool. It's like tuning into an internal map that guides you through your energetic landscape. Small things like noticing your breath, the degree of tension in your body, or the subtle feelings that creep in can provide clues. For example, feeling a sudden surge of excitement or motivation might hint at an underlying sense of alignment or positivity. Conversely, a drop in energy or a quick mood change can indicate stress or fatigue. Over time, as you observe these fluctuations without judgment, you can start to develop a clearer sense of your personal rhythm. This awareness doesn't require any fancy tools. Just honest attention to how you feel in each moment helps you build a relationship with your energy patterns. One practical way to start is to pause periodically during your day and ask yourself, how am I feeling right now? Try to identify physical sensations such as tightness, openness, warmth, or tension, and emotional states like contentment, anxiety, or boredom. Notice when your energy feels stable and when it shifts unexpectedly. For instance, maybe after a stressful interaction, you notice lingering fatigue or irritation. When you recognize these changes early, you can begin to implement small adjustments, like taking a deep breath, stretching, or stepping outside for a few moments. These quick actions help restore your balance and keep you more connected to your true energetic state. Remember, your energy fluctuates naturally, but noticing when it shifts makes it easier to manage and understand your overall well-being. Chapter 2: The Weight of the World. My overwhelm. I remember a time when my work environment was packed with stress and negative energy. The demands stretched endlessly, and the atmosphere was thick with tension. Every day felt heavier than the last, as if I was carrying more than I could bear. Colleagues would complain, deadlines loomed unmanageably close, and I found myself waking up dreading the day ahead. It was a period where negativity seeped into every part of my life, energizing my exhaustion and clouding my judgment. That toxicity wasn't just at work. It seeped into my thoughts, my feelings, and my sense of calm. Honestly, it left me feeling like I was drowning in an ocean of my own stress, with no clear way out. Heavy energy like this can create a fog that clouds your mind in ways you might not even realize at first. It's as if your thoughts become sluggish, making it harder to think clearly or make decisions. When the mind is overwhelmed with negativity or chaos, focus gets fuzzy, and everything feels like a burden. This mental clouding drains your vitality, because your emotional reserves become depleted, trying to cope with the constant barrage of stressful stimuli. You may notice yourself feeling more irritable, fatigued, or disconnected from the activities or people you once enjoyed. Instead of engaging actively with life, you wind up withdrawing, simply trying to survive the day. Over time, this persistent heaviness can establish a cycle of exhaustion, where your energy never seems to replenish, leading you to feel even more overwhelmed. What makes this even more challenging is that heavy energy tends to stick around, almost as if it has a presence of its own. Trying to push through while weighed down by negativity can feel like trying to walk through mud. Your thoughts become tangled, your emotions heightened, and small setbacks seem magnified. For instance, a minor disagreement at work might blow out of proportion, or a simple mistake can trigger a wave of self-criticism. It's not just about feeling tired, it's about feeling weighed down by unseen burdens that sap your strength and clarity. Recognizing how this heavy energy affects your mental clarity and physical vitality is vital, because it's often the first step toward reclaiming balance and peace. Once you identify its hold over you, you can begin to take active measures to lift it and restore your sense of well-being. If you find yourself in such a state, focusing on small, deliberate actions can make a difference. Clearing your mental space begins with intentionally releasing the negative influences that no longer serve you. Techniques like deep breathing, short walks outside, or even a simple pause to check in with your feelings can help counteract the heaviness. Sometimes, just acknowledging that you are overwhelmed and giving yourself permission to step back temporarily creates a sense of relief. You don't need to tackle everything all at once. Instead, breaking down the challenge into manageable parts allows you to gradually lighten your emotional load. Pay attention to your surroundings and try to introduce more positive stimuli, whether that's through calming music, uplifting thoughts, or physical movement. These small shifts can help clear the mental fog, making way for renewed energy and a healthier perspective to emerge. Why we absorb energy. Our ability to soak up the emotions of others is rooted deeply in how our minds are wired for empathy. When we're around someone experiencing strong feelings, whether it's happiness, anger, or sadness, our brains naturally pick up on their signals. This isn't a conscious choice. Rather, it's an automatic process that helps humans connect and respond to each other. Mirror neurons play a significant role here, firing both when we perform an action and when we observe someone else doing the same. This neurological setup makes it simple for us to feel what others are feeling, sometimes even without realizing it. In social settings, this process can amplify the emotional atmosphere, making us feel overwhelmed or energized based on who we're with and their mood. It's as if our minds have a radar system that detects emotional currents, and without meaning to, we tune ourselves into these vibrations. This trait has served humans well in social bonding and understanding, but it also means we often absorb emotional debris that isn't ours to carry. The more we engage with people who experience intense emotions or stressful environments, the more likely it is that their energy leaves a mark on us. Stress and anxiety, for example, are contagious in a way that transcends spoken words. When someone is anxious or upset, their body language, tone, and energy levels radiate vulnerability or tension. Our brain's social circuits interpret these cues quickly, prompting us to unconsciously mirror or match their emotional tone. Over time, this energy exchange can influence our own mood, sometimes long after we've parted ways. Certain environments, like busy workplaces, crowded spaces, or emotionally charged gatherings, also serve as reservoirs of collective energy. Sitting in a room where tension runs high can leave us feeling drained, even if we weren't directly involved in the conflict. These impressions tend to linger, embedded in our subconscious, shaping our mood and mental state even when we're alone. Hence, the people and settings we encounter don't just influence us momentarily, they can imprint on us, affecting our overall well-being. Understanding this process can help us become more mindful of our surroundings and relationships. Recognizing when we're absorbing negativity allows us to take steps toward protecting our mental space. Simple practices like grounding ourselves with mindful breathing, setting boundaries with overly emotional individuals, or creating physical space in stressful environments can make a difference. If you notice that certain places or people consistently leave you feeling exhausted or unsettled, it might be beneficial to evaluate your exposure. Cultivating awareness around energy exchange enables you to choose environments that support your emotional health. Learning to detach or shield yourself from draining energies doesn't mean disconnecting emotionally. It's about preserving your inner balance while still caring for others. Over time, developing this skill helps you maintain a healthier emotional state and reduces the likelihood of carrying burdens that aren't truly yours to bear. The cost of unawareness. Throughout my years working closely with people from all walks of life, I've seen many individuals ignore the subtle signs of negative energy draining them. One woman, for example, was known for her infectious enthusiasm, but over time, she started to seem exhausted, less confident, and increasingly irritable. She continued to push herself harder, believing that working longer hours and ignoring her feelings would help. Sadly, this led to burnout, where she felt completely depleted, both physically and mentally. Her confidence waned, and she doubted her abilities, all because she didn't recognize the signs her body and mind were giving her. These stories are common, but often overlooked until the damage is done. When we ignore the small signals, feeling constantly tired, losing enthusiasm, or feeling disconnected, we risk allowing toxic energies to take hold, leading to serious consequences like emotional exhaustion or even health issues. Some people mistake these signs for normal stress or temporary setbacks, failing to see how continuous exposure to draining energies can chip away at their confidence and well-being. I once met a man who, despite feeling increasingly anxious and physically drained, refused to slow down, convinced that pushing through would solve everything. Over time, he faced not just burnout, but also a deep sense of burnout that affected his relationships and his overall happiness. The real danger lies in neglecting these early warning signs, which often sit hidden beneath busy schedules or internal resistance to acknowledging vulnerability. When energy drains are left unmanaged, they tend to grow worse, leading to decreased productivity, strained relationships, and a loss of self-trust. Recognizing these signals is not just about avoiding discomfort. It's about safeguarding your mental, emotional, and physical health before crises arise. Many individuals pay a heavy price for their unawareness. A common scenario involves ignoring persistent feelings of frustration or fatigue, brushing them off as temporary issues rather than alarms signaling deeper problems. Over time, this habitual oversight can snowball into chronic stress or even depressive episodes. I've seen clients who ignored toxic energy patterns because they were too busy or felt uncomfortable confronting the truth. Eventually, their resilience cracked, and they found themselves unable to perform at their best, or worse, feeling completely lost. The high cost of ignoring these signs emphasizes the importance of early detection and management. When energy drains are identified sooner rather than later, there's a chance to implement simple yet effective strategies, like setting boundaries, practicing self-care, or seeking support, that prevent small issues from escalating into full-blown crises. Exercise. Understanding the energy that surrounds us is a fundamental step in gaining better control over our mental and emotional well-being. The first step involves performing a straightforward vibe check, a moment to pause and become aware of the dominant feeling or atmosphere in your environment or your internal state. To do this, find a quiet moment where you can focus without distractions. Take a few deep breaths, and as you breathe, tune into how you feel physically and emotionally. Notice whether your shoulders feel tense or relaxed, if your mind is racing or calm, and the overall tone that seems to surface. This isn't about analyzing every detail, but rather sensing the overall impression your current environment or mood gives you. Once you've tuned in, try to pinpoint one main energy pattern that stands out. It might be a sense of stress, excitement, calmness, or exhaustion. Sometimes, beneath these feelings, there could be a specific thought or ongoing situation influencing your state. For instance, if you realize that most of your energy feels heavy or drained, it might be due to ongoing worries or overwork. Conversely, if you are feeling a burst of enthusiasm, perhaps some recent positive experiences or upcoming plans are fueling that energy. Recognizing this core energy provides invaluable insight into how your environment or inner state affects you, and it sets the foundation for making conscious adjustments that can enhance your overall sense of balance. Evaluating the impact of this dominant energy involves observing how it influences your behavior, reactions, and interactions throughout the day. It can shape your mood, decision-making, and even how you relate to others. For example, persistent stress might cause irritability or difficulty focusing, while a sense of calm could lead to more patience and clarity. Once you identify this main energy, pay attention to how long it lasts and the circumstances that tend to reinforce it. Over time, you'll begin to recognize patterns. Some energies may be more habitual, while others might be triggered by specific events or people. Understanding these patterns empowers you to take more deliberate steps toward managing the energy you choose to nurture or release, leading to a greater sense of control and well-being. Becoming aware of the energy you carry isn't just about momentary feelings. It directly connects to your long-term health and happiness. When you observe the dominant energy in your life with honesty, you start noticing how it influences your physical health, mental clarity, and emotional stability. For instance, chronic feelings of anxiety or frustration can manifest physically through tense muscles, rapid heartbeat, or fatigue. Recognizing these connections helps you understand that your internal state isn't isolated. It echoes through your entire being. This awareness creates a space where you can begin to see how shifting your energy can lead to tangible improvements in your life. It's about building a habit of paying attention, not just to your thoughts, but to the subtle feelings that often go unnoticed, yet carry significant influence over your sense of well-being. As you become more receptive to your inner energy landscape, you start noticing triggers that either uplift or drain you. For example, certain environments, conversations, or even specific tasks may consistently leave you feeling energized or depleted. The key is to approach this awareness without judgment. Instead of criticizing yourself for negative energies, simply observe and accept what is present. This shift in attitude allows you to gently steer your energy in directions that support wellness. Small but consistent changes, like taking a moment to breathe deeply when feeling overwhelmed or stepping away from a stressful situation, help maintain a healthier energy balance. Over time, cultivating this consciousness can transform how you approach daily challenges, often making it easier to stay centered and resilient even amid chaos. Another important aspect is recognizing the power of intentional practices such as mindfulness, visualization, or grounding exercises. These tools help anchor your awareness in the present moment, allowing you to notice shifts in energy before they become overwhelming. For example, visualizing a calming light enveloping your body when anxiety begins to rise, or grounding yourself by feeling your feet on the floor can reset your energy. Consistently tuning into how different activities and environments affect you makes it easier to choose what genuinely supports your well-being. The ultimate goal isn't to suppress all negative feelings, but to develop a conscious relationship with your energy, giving you more authority over how you respond to life's inevitable ups and downs. This ongoing awareness becomes a foundation for more intentional living and greater overall health. Remember that your energy is a resource, one that can be cultivated, managed, and replenished. Small daily practices, such as taking intentional pauses, practicing gentle movement, or simply listening to your body's signals, help you stay in touch with your inner state. As your awareness deepens, you'll notice a ripple effect, improved mood, better focus, and even more positive interactions. This consistency builds resilience and makes managing your energy feel less like an effort and more like a natural part of your routine. Ultimately, the more conscious you become, the more empowered you are to create an environment, both inside and out, that nurtures your well-being rather than drains it. Paying attention to your energy isn't a one-time effort, but a gentle, ongoing practice that supports a healthier, more balanced life. Chapter 3. Emotions as Energy. My emotional ride. Think back to a day when everything seemed to align perfectly, and happiness just poured out uncontrollably. Perhaps a moment when you received good news, shared a laugh with someone close, or achieved a personal milestone. That surge of joy often felt like a wildfire spreading rapidly through your entire body, illuminating your mind and making everything around you shine brighter. It's as if a burst of energy swept through your limbs, lifting your spirits and making everything seem possible. These waves of delight stir up a profound sense of connection, creating a feeling that life is vibrant and full of promise. Yet, just as quick as happiness surges in, it can fade, giving way to other feelings, proving how emotions are all part of this ongoing, energetic dance inside us. Now contrast that with a day when sadness enveloped you like a dense fog, muffling the world and clouding your thoughts. It might have been a moment when disappointment, loss, or hurt pressed heavy on your chest, making each breath feel sluggish. The energy here takes on a different shape, sluggish, heavy, almost resistant to movement. You might have felt like your emotional state was stuck in a thick, unchanging layer of gloom that filters out the colors of everyday life. This sadness acts as a sort of energetic barrier, preventing you from moving freely and dulling the sensations of joy or excitement. Experiencing both these extremes in one day shows how emotions aren't fixed. They are fluid, constantly shifting and reshaping themselves within us like a storm brewing, then calming or raging anew. Our feelings are energy in motion, never static, always ebbing and flowing. Our emotions can best be understood as powerful, rhythmic waves coursing through us, much like the tide shifting on the shoreline. These feelings are not just mental states, but tangible forces that push and pull, affecting how we think, behave, and react. When a wave of happiness rises, it can lift us, inspiring us to smile, take action, or connect more deeply with others. Conversely, a wave of anxiety or fear might cause us to withdraw or become overwhelmed, as if a current is pulling us under. The key is recognizing that these are not fixed traits, but transient energies that come and go. This perspective helps us understand that no feeling lasts forever. Instead, each emotional wave crests, reaches a peak, and then recedes, leaving space for the next one to arrive. Learning to observe these waves allows us to see emotions as natural fluctuations rather than permanent states, providing a sense of control and perspective during intense moments. For many, recognizing the rhythm of emotions can be transformative. Instead of fighting or suppressing difficult feelings, we learn to ride these waves. Imagine sitting on a surfboard, feeling the swell beneath you. By adopting this mindset, you accept each emotional surge as part of a larger cycle. This awareness diminishes the power of negative feelings, making them easier to manage. For example, when sadness or anger strikes unexpectedly, acknowledging it as a wave in the ocean reduces its intensity and helps you stay grounded. It's about seeing emotions not as fixed points, but as energies that pass through, just like weather patterns in the sky, sometimes stormy, sometimes calm. With practice, this understanding nurtures emotional resilience, enabling us to navigate even the most turbulent feelings more gracefully. To better manage this energetic flow, one practical tip is to pause and breathe deeply whenever an emotion feels overwhelming. Deep breathing helps to slow down the intensity of the wave and create space between the feeling and your response. This simple act allows the wave to crest naturally without pushing you into reactive patterns. Over time, by simply observing your emotions as waves, you'll develop a more relaxed attitude toward their rise and fall. This shift in perspective turns emotional experiences into opportunities for self-awareness rather than sources of distress. Remember, feelings are like currents in an ocean. They come, they go, and understanding this can make a significant difference in how you experience life's emotional ride. The science of feeling. Our emotions have a profound impact on how our brains are wired and function daily. Research by Lisa Feldman Barrett, a pioneering psychologist and neuroscientist, sheds light on how emotions are more than just fleeting feelings. They are complex processes that involve specific changes in brain activity and structure. Barrett's studies emphasize that emotions are not hardwired or fixed, but are dynamically constructed based on our experiences and biological makeup. When we experience fear, joy, anger, or sadness, these emotions activate specific networks of neurons in different parts of our brain, influencing everything from our decision-making to our physical health. For example, the amygdala, often called the brain's alarm system, becomes highly active when we feel threatened, alerting us to danger and preparing our body for a fight or flight response. Over time, repeated emotional responses can actually reshape these neural pathways, making certain reactions more automatic or difficult to change. This means that feeling angry frequently can reinforce neural circuits associated with anger, making it harder to feel calm or relaxed in similar situations. Therefore, our emotional lives are not just random. They are embedded in the very structure of our brains, constantly evolving based on our experiences and perceptions. Understanding this connection helps us see that emotions are not simply reactions to external events. They are constructed experiences that result from a complex interplay of our perceptions, past experiences, and biological processes. Barrett explains that emotions are made up of various components: our brain's predictions, memories, bodily sensations, and environmental cues, all working together. When we encounter a situation, our brain rapidly interprets the sensory information based on what it expects and remembers, creating an emotional experience that feels immediate and automatic. This means that two people can experience the same event, but have very different emotional responses because their brains process and interpret the situation differently. For instance, one person might see a spider and feel terror, while another might see it as a harmless creature. These differences stem from individual perceptions, learned associations, and biological factors that shape how we construct our emotional realities. Recognizing that emotions are built rather than just happening allows us to see that we have some influence over how we feel. We can learn to reframe our perceptions and, over time, modify the emotional responses that dominate our lives. In practice, this understanding encourages us to pay attention to the small details of our perceptions, how we interpret events, the stories we tell ourselves about what's happening, and the sensations in our body. By becoming more aware of these processes, we gain the ability to intentionally influence our emotional experiences. For example, if you notice that your mind tends to jump to worst-case scenarios, recognizing this pattern can help you challenge those automatic thoughts and see the situation more clearly. Additionally, understanding that emotions involve a combination of biological responses and perceptions can motivate us to engage in practices like mindfulness or cognitive restructuring. These techniques help us step back from automatic emotional reactions and create space for more intentional responses. The more we understand that we are the architects of our emotional experiences, the better equipped we are to shape them in ways that serve us better, fostering resilience and emotional clarity. Small shifts in perception, practiced consistently, can lead to meaningful changes in how we feel over time. Channeling the flow. Remember, practice doesn't require perfect execution. The goal is to develop a set of accessible tools that fit your life and emotional rhythms. When feelings begin to rise, pause and give yourself permission to acknowledge them without judgment. Naming feelings and applying breath work are simple yet profound ways to stay present and keep your emotional wave riding smooth rather than crashing. The more you experiment with these methods, the more intuitive they become, allowing you to stay centered even during life's most unpredictable moments. Experimenting with these techniques also means giving yourself permission to adapt and personalize them. Some might find that a quick mental mantra combined with deep breaths works best, while others prefer journaling or visualization. For example, visualizing a calming scene, like a quiet lake or a peaceful forest, can deepen your sense of serenity. You might also create a small ritual, like holding your hand over your heart when emotions run high, which serves as a physical cue to slow down and breathe. The key is to remain open-minded and reduce the pressure to do it perfectly. What matters most is finding what helps you feel more balanced and in control. As you experiment, pay attention to the results. Notice how your feelings shift when you name them or breathe intentionally. Do certain methods help you feel calmer faster? Do some techniques become your go-to quick fix during stressful moments? Keeping track of what works creates a personalized map for emotional management. Remember, the goal isn't to eliminate feelings, but to develop a toolkit that allows you to ride them with more grace and less turbulence. Over time, these small, consistent practices can become the foundation of a more resilient emotional outlook, empowering you to stay steady amid life's ups and downs. One practical tip is to set reminders or cues throughout the day, perhaps a note on your mirror or a vibrating alarm on your phone, that prompts you to check in with your feelings and do a brief breathing exercise. This habit can build a mental habit loop, making emotional regulation an automatic response rather than a reaction. With patience and persistence, experimenting with naming feelings and breath work can become second nature, helping you conserve your emotional energy and maintain clarity even when life throws curveballs your way. Tool. One of the most powerful ways to manage emotions is simply becoming aware of what's happening inside you. When you notice an emotion, whether it's happiness, anger, anxiety, or frustration, you create a moment of space between feeling it and reacting to it. This space allows you to choose how to respond rather than just reacting automatically. Developing this awareness takes practice but can lead to more intentional and balanced reactions, helping you stay centered even when emotions run high. Paying close attention to your feelings without judgment lets you identify patterns and triggers over time, which is essential for learning how to influence your emotional state actively. To strengthen this awareness, I recommend a simple journaling exercise. Start by setting aside a few minutes each day, perhaps in the morning or evening. During this time, focus solely on identifying your dominant emotion at that moment. Write down what you're feeling, describing the emotion in as much detail as possible, its intensity, where you feel it in your body, and any thoughts associated with it. For instance, you might notice you're feeling annoyance because of a recent argument, or you might realize you're feeling anxious about upcoming plans. As you do this consistently, you'll begin to see patterns emerge, revealing how certain emotions influence your mood and decisions throughout the day. Tracking your emotions over days or weeks can illuminate how different feelings impact your behavior. Once you recognize a dominant emotion, try to observe how it colors your thinking and actions. Does anger lead to shutting down or lashing out? Does fear cause hesitation or avoidance? By understanding these links, you gain tools to actively manage your responses. Over time, this practice can help you notice early signs of emotional escalation and employ techniques like deep breathing or shifting focus to diffuse tension before it escalates. This habit of awareness becomes a foundation for controlling emotional reactions instead of being controlled by them. When you use awareness as a tool for emotional regulation, you essentially become a conscious observer of your internal landscape. This detachment allows you to step outside automatic reactions and evaluate the situation more rationally. For example, if you notice that a sense of frustration is building during a stressful situation, acknowledging this feeling gives you a chance to take a pause rather than reacting impulsively. You might choose to take a break, breathe deeply, or reframe your perspective. This shift from reacting to responding is crucial because it grants you ownership over your emotional experiences. It's not about suppressing feelings, but rather understanding them, which makes managing them much easier. Over time, cultivating this awareness can lead to more consistent emotional stability. It becomes easier to recognize when certain emotions are lingering or intensifying, and you can intervene before they overwhelm you. This could involve quick mindfulness exercises, such as focusing on your breath or scanning your body for tension. The key is to develop a habit of checking in with yourself regularly. For instance, setting alarms or reminders to pause and observe your feelings. Small, consistent acts of awareness build a bridge from automatic emotional responses to more deliberate, constructive ways of engaging with your feelings. By practicing this, you empower yourself to navigate emotional landscapes with confidence and clarity, transforming awareness into a powerful tool for living more intentionally. Chapter 4: The Mirror of Others. My people shock. Every time I think about how people's energy impacts me, I recall how a friend's positivity can completely shift my mood in an instant. One sunny afternoon, my friend tossed me a cheerful joke during a tough day, and I felt my tension melt away. Her carefree attitude and genuine smile had this contagious effect, making me feel lighter and more hopeful, even in a moment of stress. That day, I realized how powerful someone's upbeat vibe can be in lifting our spirits and changing the entire tone of our mood. It made me more aware that social energy isn't just about the words people say, but also about the feelings they emit through their presence and attitude. On the flip side, I remember the time I encountered a stranger in a crowded cafe whose anger practically radiated off him. His face was tense, eyebrows furrowed deep, and he snapped at a waiter over a mistake. Even from a distance, I felt a shift in my own feeling state. My shoulders tightened, and a sense of unease crept in. His negative energy seemed to ripple outward, almost like a wave, unsettling everyone nearby. That experience made me realize how much our emotional reactions are influenced by others' vibes. It's as if social energy acts as an invisible force field, capable of either uplifting or draining us, often without us realizing it until after the encounter. Seeing these contrasting moments helped me understand that social energy is a real, palpable thing. When someone is radiating positivity, it's like a beacon that invites us to feel more optimistic and open. Conversely, negative emotions, especially anger or frustration, can be equally contagious and tend to pull us down into a more defensive or anxious state. These observations underscored how crucial it is to be mindful of the energy we surround ourselves with. Paying attention to how certain people's vibes affect our feelings can help us decide who to spend more time with and how to protect our own emotional state. It's clear that social energy directly influences our mental well-being and outlook, sometimes more than we realize. Social energy dynamics. Our brains are wired in fascinating ways, especially when it comes to social interactions. One of the key players in this wiring is the mirror neuron system, a network of cells in our brain that fires both when we perform an action and when we observe someone else doing the same thing. It's as if our brains mimic others' actions internally, creating a kind of automatic empathy. This mirroring mechanism allows us to connect with the emotions and intentions of those around us, sometimes even before we consciously realize it. When crowds gather, whether in cheering at a concert, protesting a cause, or celebrating a sports victory, these mirror neuron responses become highly active, resulting in a shared emotional state. Imagine being at a lively rally where the crowd erupts in applause, and suddenly, you find yourself clapping along, caught up in the collective energy. Your brain's mirror neurons are echoing what others are doing, amplifying your feelings of excitement or solidarity. This is part of what makes group experiences so powerful. They produce a ripple effect that spreads individual emotions through social contagion. Social contagion refers to how attitudes, feelings, or behaviors spread from person to person, much like a ripple moving across water. Once a few individuals within a group display a certain emotion, be it joy, anger, or anxiety, it can quickly influence others nearby, creating a wave of shared feeling. This process explains how entire crowds can become collectively energized, tense, or euphoric just through simple cues like facial expressions, body language, or vocal enthusiasm. Throughout history, these mechanisms have played a crucial role during significant gatherings. For instance, during political protests or religious ceremonies, a single person's enthusiasm can ignite a chain reaction, harnessing the power of mirror neurons and social contagion to boost the group's overall energy. The contagious nature of emotions can also be observed in everyday settings like workplaces or social clubs, where a leader's mood often sets the tone for the room. This phenomenon is why the atmosphere at events or group settings can shift so dramatically, sometimes almost imperceptibly, driven by subtle cues that spread rapidly via our social and neurological wiring. Understanding these processes helps us recognize why environments can become highly charged and how individual feelings can influence the collective mood without overt effort. Group emotions aren't just fleeting moments confined to specific events. They have a tendency to flow through communities and gatherings, shaping the collective atmosphere over time. When people come together, they often unconsciously sync their emotional states, creating a unified mood that can persist long after the initial trigger. For example, during a community festival, the joy and excitement shared among participants can generate a lasting sense of unity and pride. Conversely, in tense or conflict-heavy situations, collective anxiety or anger can spread rapidly, sometimes escalating conflicts or tensions far beyond the original source. This ripple effect happens because humans tend to respond to others' emotional cues and mirror those feelings, fostering a sense of belonging or, conversely, of division. Two main factors influence how these emotional ripples propagate: shared context and social reinforcement. When the environment reinforces feeling states, through music, language, or physical proximity, emotions are more likely to intensify and spread. For instance, a crowd at a rally feeding off each other's enthusiasm can experience waves of collective optimism or despair, depending on the message or tone. In communities, these emotions can persist over days or weeks, influencing collective behaviors and even shaping social norms. When emotional contagion becomes a frequent occurrence, it can create a collective mindset that influences how the group perceives challenges, opportunities, or threats. Recognizing these patterns offers insight into how social dynamics function, emphasizing the importance of managing group emotions consciously to foster positive environments. Practically, paying attention to the tone set by leaders or influential community members can help guide group emotions in a desired direction. This is especially relevant in organizational or social movements, where the emotional climate often determines success or failure. By understanding the natural ebb and flow of collective feelings, leaders and participants can better navigate group interactions, promoting resilience, cohesion, or motivation. For example, sharing stories of success, emphasizing common goals, and celebrating small wins can stimulate positive ripples that uplift the entire community. Conversely, addressing conflicts openly and empathetically can prevent negative emotions from spiraling and fragmenting the group. Ultimately, emotion ripple effects highlight the importance of conscious emotional management in shaping the health and vitality of any collective or gathering. Choosing your circle. Throughout my life, I've realized that the company we keep can significantly influence our mindset, motivation, and overall well-being. When I faced tough seasons, I noticed that the people I chose to spend time with made a remarkable difference in how I navigated those challenges. Some friendships or associations drained my energy or placed doubts in my mind, while others fueled my determination, and brought positivity into my daily routine. The key lesson I learned is that surrounding myself with uplifting individuals creates a ripple effect that boosts resilience and fosters growth. It's easier to stay motivated and keep a hopeful outlook when you're in the company of those who genuinely lift you up and share a similar optimistic outlook. These are the people who celebrate your victories, support you during setbacks, and encourage your continuous improvement. Over time, I began to assess which relationships brought genuine happiness and which ones were draining. Prioritizing connection with positive influences isn't about dismissing others, but about recognizing the importance of nurturing relationships that align with your aspirations and values. Protecting your mental space is crucial. Being around negative or toxic people can sap your energy, reinforce doubts, and hinder your capacity to move forward. The lessons learned from facing personal trials emphasize that choosing your circle isn't a passive decision, but a conscious effort that shapes your outlook and future. When you're intentional about the energy around you, it becomes easier to stay focused and motivated, turning difficult times into opportunities for self-awareness and growth. Ultimately, the people you surround yourself with are mirrors reflecting what you value and what you aspire to become. To build a supportive environment, I learned that it's essential to seek out individuals who embody positivity, resilience, and authenticity. Not all relationships require a deep connection. Sometimes, just sharing laughter or exchanging encouraging words can uplift your spirit. Spending time with people who genuinely celebrate your successes and motivate you to pursue your goals can create a foundation of hope and confidence. It's equally important to recognize that being selective doesn't mean exclusivity, but rather a focus on quality over quantity in your social interactions. During moments of personal trial, I found it useful to cut out relationships that perpetuated negativity or brought unnecessary stress. Instead, I gravitated toward those who offered understanding and encouragement, even during my darkest days. Developing this kind of environment involves consciously choosing to limit exposure to harmful influences and expanding your network to include those who inspire you. Practicing honesty about how certain relationships affect your mood and energy is a vital step in cultivating a positive circle. It's helpful to remember that maintaining boundaries is part of protecting your mental health. Sometimes, saying no or stepping away from toxic connections is not only okay but necessary. Sustaining positive energy around you creates a fertile ground where your confidence can grow and where setbacks become surmountable challenges rather than insurmountable barriers. Building on these lessons, I realized that creating a nurturing social environment begins with your own mindset. When you view yourself as deserving of good, uplifting relationships, you naturally attract like-minded individuals. Investing time in communities, groups, or activities aligned with your values can facilitate meaningful connections. For example, joining a local hobby club, volunteering, or engaging in professional networks can introduce you to people who share your passions and outlook on life. It's not about superficial interactions. It's about forming genuine bonds rooted in shared growth and positivity. Additionally, being a source of uplift for others can attract similar energy back to you. Practicing kindness, active listening, and offering genuine support can deepen relationships and reinforce a cycle of positive influence. Keep in mind that this process requires patience and intentionality. Cultivating a supportive environment isn't achieved overnight, but by consistently choosing positive interactions, you lay a strong foundation for resilience during tough times. Ultimately, remember that the quality of the people you surround yourself with can either amplify your inner strength or drain it, so be mindful in your choices and deliberate in nurturing those that nourish your spirit. A simple yet powerful tip is to periodically evaluate your social circle. Reflect on how interactions make you feel and whether they align with your goals and values. Don't hesitate to distance yourself from relationships that no longer serve your well-being and focus on investing in those that inspire and uplift you. Sometimes, small changes, like reaching out to someone who encourages you or saying no to draining commitments, can significantly impact your mood and outlook. By consciously shaping your environment, you create a space where positive energy flourishes, making it easier to stay motivated and resilient through life's inevitable ups and downs. Remember, your circle is a reflection of your inner world. Choose it wisely, and it will become a source of strength rather than stress. Case study. Meet Lisa, a woman who once found herself constantly drained by her social circle. She noticed that her energy levels fluctuated wildly depending on who she interacted with, and many of these relationships felt heavier than uplifting. One day, She decided to take control of her social environment rather than letting external influences dictate her mood and well-being. She started by identifying relationships that were toxic, those that drained her authenticity, joy, or peace, and gradually created boundaries to protect her mental space. This meant ending friendships that brought more stress than support and distancing herself from people who thrived on negativity or gossip. This process was not easy. It required honesty with herself about what she deserved and courage to make tough choices. Along the way, she replaced these toxic interactions with more positive, affirming connections, seeking out people who radiated support and genuine kindness. Over time, Lisa noticed she felt lighter, more confident, and in better control of her emotional landscape. Her focus shifted from trying to fix or change others to nurturing relationships that energized her rather than depleting her. This intentional act of curating her social energy created a ripple effect, helping her build a more resilient and balanced life, where her emotional health was a priority rather than an afterthought. What Lisa's story highlights is a conscious decision to be selective about who we allow into our space. Managing social vibrations isn't about excluding others completely, but about recognizing which connections foster growth and positivity, and which ones foster imbalance. When you pay closer attention to your social environment, you start noticing patterns: who lifts you up, who brings you down, and which interactions leave you feeling drained. You can then make choices that support your well-being, whether by setting boundaries, reducing contact, or simply being more mindful of the conversations and energy exchanges you're engaging in. This shift allows you to reclaim your mental space and become more intentional about the energy you carry into your day. Consciously managing social energy has a profound impact over time. It extends beyond short-term relief to long-term benefits that can reshape your overall quality of life. When you surround yourself with people who vibrate on a level of positivity and support, you naturally begin to mirror their energy. This can boost your confidence, foster resilience, and help you navigate stressful situations more calmly. Additionally, by limiting exposure to negativity, you reduce the chance of absorbing harmful thought patterns or emotional reactions that aren't yours. This process cultivates a healthier mental environment, strengthening your emotional immune system and enriching your daily experiences. Thinking strategically about who you keep close and how you interact with them can lead to surprising benefits. These include improved mental clarity, increased productivity, and a stronger sense of self-worth. Perhaps most importantly, it empowers you to take responsibility for your own energy state rather than reacting passively to external influences. When your social circle aligns with your values and supports your growth, your personal development accelerates naturally. Over time, you'll notice your relationships becoming more authentic, your inner peace deepening, and your overall happiness improving because your energy is no longer spent on the wrong people or pursuits. To begin practicing this, start monitoring how different interactions affect your mood. When you notice a conversation or relationship draining your energy, pause and reconsider the value it adds to your life. Setting clear boundaries, whether by limiting contact, being honest about your feelings, or choosing to step away, can transform how you experience social interactions. Remember, the goal isn't perfection but intentionality. Small, deliberate choices about who and what you engage with daily accumulate over time, leading to a more energetic, balanced, and fulfilling life. Keep in mind, your social vibrations are a reflection of your inner state, so cultivating your own positivity will naturally attract similar energies into your life. Chapter 5: The Pulse of Places. My sacred space. There's a small, quiet corner on a beach I visit whenever I need a break from the chaos of everyday life. The moment I step onto the soft sand and hear the gentle lapping of waves, I notice a shift in my mood. My shoulders relax, and a sense of calm washes over me as I become more aware of the space I occupy. This place has a way of grounding me, making me feel connected to something larger than myself. It's as if the environment recognizes my presence and responds with its own subtle, calming energy, helping me tap into a deeper sense of awareness about my surroundings. This particular beach isn't just a spot for soaking up sunshine, it acts as a mirror reflecting my inner state. If I feel anxious or restless, just being there creates a natural rhythm that settles the mind. The wide open sky, the gentle wind, and the rhythmic sound of waves all combine to produce an energy that feels both ancient and personal. Over time, I've noticed that different places offer distinct kinds of energies. Some invigorate, others soothe, and some challenge me to be present. Recognizing these shifts helps me understand how environments influence my emotional and mental states, fostering a deeper appreciation for the role of place in shaping our daily experiences. All environments are carriers of their own unique energies, often shaped by natural elements, history, and human presence. When we spend time in a space, we begin to absorb these subtle cues, even without realizing it. For example, a quiet garden filled with blooming flowers can promote feelings of peace and serenity, while an energetic city street might stimulate alertness or excitement. These energies are transferred through sensory experiences, sights, sounds, scents, and textures that influence our mood and awareness. Think about how walking through a dense forest can make you feel grounded and calm, while standing in a bustling marketplace might energize your senses. This transfer of energy doesn't happen randomly. It's embedded in the environment's character and history. Our bodies and minds are constantly exchanging energy with our surroundings. When we enter a space, our presence interacts with its inherent vibrational frequency, a combination of environmental factors like natural features, architecture, and even the collective emotions of people who have been there before us. This interaction often results in us feeling a certain way, refreshed after visiting a park, anxious in a noisy room, or inspired in a creative studio. The process can be subtle but powerful, gradually aligning our internal energy with the environment's tone. Recognizing this transfer helps us choose places that nurture us, or conversely, avoid spaces that trigger unnecessary stress or discomfort. Being aware of how environments shape our inner states allows us to consciously seek out spaces that support our well-being. For example, after spending time in a tranquil garden, I often notice a lingering sense of calm that helps me approach challenges more mindfully. Conversely, engaging in activities in high-energy spaces can boost motivation and creativity. Understanding the energy transfer process also encourages us to modify our surroundings, adding calming elements in a workspace or creating a cozy corner at home, so that they better serve our intentions. This awareness turns us into more mindful creators of our environment, helping us harness the power of place to enhance our daily lives. The science of space. Environmental psychology offers fascinating insights into how different environments shape our emotional states. It suggests that the places we frequent can influence our mood, stress levels, and overall sense of well-being. For example, being in a busy, cluttered room may increase feelings of anxiety or overwhelm, whereas a calm, open space tends to promote relaxation and clarity. Our brains are wired to respond to spatial cues, and certain features such as lighting, color, noise levels, and the natural elements within a space can either soothe or disturb us. Recognizing these effects helps us understand why some locations make us feel energized and others drain our energy or evoke discomfort. The key takeaway is that our emotional responses are deeply connected to the environments we inhabit, often on an unconscious level, and by modifying these surroundings, we can significantly improve our mental states. Physical space impacts not only our mental health, but also our energetic well-being in impactful ways. The way a space is arranged can influence the flow of energy, sometimes called qi in traditional philosophies, either promoting harmony or causing stagnation. Cluttered or poorly organized areas, for instance, can create a sense of chaos which reflects and amplifies mental clutter, leading to stress and fatigue. On the other hand, spaces designed with intention, such as those that incorporate clean lines, natural light, and accessible pathways, tend to foster a feeling of openness and vitality. When we are in environments that support physical movement and comfort, our bodies respond by feeling more relaxed and energetic. The arrangement of furniture, the presence of natural elements like plants, and the use of colors all play roles in shaping this energetic atmosphere. Creating physical spaces that support well-being involves paying attention to both function and harmony, ensuring our surroundings nurture a balanced state of mind and body. Improving your space may involve simple adjustments, like decluttering your workspace to reduce mental overload, or bringing in natural light to boost your mood. You might consider incorporating plants, which not only purify the air, but also promote a sense of life and calm. Using soft, warm colors in home or office environments can make spaces feel more inviting and reduce stress. Remember that personal comfort is key. An ergonomically friendly chair or a cozy corner can make a big difference in how space impacts your energy. Small changes like optimizing circulation pathways or adding personal touches to an area can alter the atmosphere profoundly. The bottom line is that space is a powerful tool, one that, when understood and used thoughtfully, can become a foundation for a more balanced and energized life. Paying attention to your environment and making intentional modifications can help you feel more centered, motivated, and resilient every day. Creating your haven. Transforming your home into a sanctuary begins with simple, personal touches that remove clutter and create an environment where positive energy can flourish. Start by decluttering your space. This doesn't mean perfection, but rather removing what no longer serves you. Clear surfaces, organize your belongings, and create designated spots for items. When your environment feels organized, your mind naturally relaxes, making it easier to feel at peace. Adding plants can significantly boost the energy of your home, not just visually but energetically as well. Plants bring a sense of life, purify the air, and introduce a gentle movement of energy that can be very calming. Consider small adjustments like choosing the right lighting. Warm, soft lights create a cozy atmosphere, and selecting colors that evoke serenity, such as soft blues or earthy tones. These minor changes continuously reinforce a sense of safety and positivity, turning your space into a true oasis of calm. Creating a space with intention is about designing your environment in a way that nurtures your inner energy. Think about how each area in your home can support your mood and well-being. For example, a dedicated corner for meditation or quiet reflection can become a powerful tool for grounding yourself daily. Incorporate elements that resonate personally, whether it's crystals, artwork, or meaningful objects, and arrange them thoughtfully to foster good vibes. Pay attention to airflow and natural light, as these influence your mood and energy levels. Arrange furniture to encourage a sense of openness rather than constriction, ensuring there's enough room for movement and breathing. When your space feels aligned with your intentions, it becomes more than just a pretty room. It becomes a haven where you can reconnect with yourself and recharge. Small tweaks, like removing distractions or creating a dedicated space for your hobbies, support this inner nurturing process, making your home genuinely reflective of who you are and what you need most. It helps to keep in mind that creating a haven isn't a one-time task, but an ongoing process. Regularly reassess how your environment makes you feel and make adjustments accordingly. When you notice your energy waning or feeling sluggish, consider rearranging or adding elements that inject new life into your space. Simple practices like opening windows for fresh air or periodically cleaning your space can make a surprising difference. Remember, a home that actively supports your well-being is one you want to return to, one that uplifts and renews your spirit every day. After all, your environment should serve as a mirror of your inner peace and a catalyst for positive energy, not a source of stress or distraction. Small, consistent efforts create a space that truly nurtures your soul, making your home not just a place to live, but a sanctuary you cherish deeply. Exercise. Building the habit of tuning into your environment's energetic resonance involves more than just noticing how you feel. It's about cultivating a conscious connection to your surroundings and understanding the subtle signals they send. Begin by paying attention to your initial reactions when entering a new space. Are you drawn in, or does it make you uncomfortable? Notice how your body responds, whether through relaxed muscles, quickened heartbeat, or lingering thoughts. Keep a journal where you regularly record these impressions, noting changes over time that occur in different environments. By consistently practicing this mindfulness, you develop a keener sense of how your environment impacts your mood, focus, and energy levels. This awareness becomes a guiding compass, helping you choose spaces that align with your needs on any given day. To make this practice more effective, start by choosing a familiar place to observe its energy's effect on you, then gradually expand to new locations. For example, you could visit a local cafe or park once a week and note exactly how it influences your feelings and energy. As you become more skilled, you might notice patterns. Certain settings uplift you while others drain you. With experience, you'll develop a natural instinct for selecting environments that support your mood and focus. Incorporating this habit into your routine can dramatically influence your emotional health and productivity, especially because it encourages you to become more intentional about the spaces you spend time in. A simple, consistent reflection process, asking yourself how each place affects your feelings, can be enough to create a powerful shift in your relationship with your surroundings. One practical tip is to set reminders to pause and reflect during your day. For example, after entering a new space or returning home, take a few moments to breathe deeply and ask yourself how you feel. Write these feelings down in a journal or a digital note, noting details like noise levels, lighting, and overall vibe. Over time, reviewing these entries will help you identify environments that boost your mood or foster calmness. This ongoing awareness supports you in making deliberate choices about where to spend your time, whether it's seeking out lively spots when you need energy or retreating to quiet places when you need rest. Remember, your environment's energy isn't just something to observe. It's a resource you can intentionally harness to support your physical and emotional health each day. Chapter 6: The Cosmic Hum. My starlit moment. There's something inexplicably calming about standing outside when the night sky stretches infinitely above. I remember one particular evening when I found myself alone in a quiet field, gazing up at a sky full of shimmering points of light. The stars seemed so close, yet so distant, sparking a deep sense of wonder within me. As I watched, I felt a gentle wave of connection, like those tiny lights were whispering messages from somewhere far beyond our everyday reality. It's as if the universe was drawing me into its own story, making me feel part of something much bigger than myself. This feeling of connectedness isn't just a romantic notion, it's rooted in something real. Many cultures and ancient civilizations looked to the stars for guidance, believing they held the keys to understanding life itself. When you take the time to really observe the sky, you start to realize how small our worries are compared to the vast cosmic dance happening above us. That moment under the stars becomes a grounding experience, sparking curiosity about the universe's mysteries and our place within it. It's a reminder that, no matter how hectic life may seem, we're inherently linked to something greater than ourselves. That night under the stars was more than a peaceful moment. It shifted how I saw everything. I began to understand that the universe isn't silent or still. It's vibrating with energies that we often don't sense consciously. This idea isn't just spiritual fluff, but has some grounding in science, like how everything in existence emits frequency or vibration. When I looked up at the sky, I started to notice a subtle hum, not with my ears, but with my intuition. It felt as if the universe was humming a tune that all living things could tune into if they listened carefully enough. This realization opened my eyes to how universal vibrations influence our thoughts, feelings, and even physical health. For example, certain frequencies are believed to foster calmness, clarity, or inspiration, which is why sound therapy and meditation often use specific tones to bring harmony. Learning to tune into these vibrations, even in small ways, can deepen your sense of connection. Starting with simple practices like listening to calming sounds or paying attention to your own breathing can help you pick up on these subtle energies. The more you explore, the more you realize that everything around us resonates on different levels, and we can tap into this cosmic harmony to foster well-being or insight. In practical terms, becoming aware of universal vibrations encourages us to slow down and cultivate mindfulness. Notice how certain sounds or environments evoke different feelings in you. Try sitting quietly under the night sky or near natural sounds like water or wind, and observe whether you feel more centered. These small shifts can open pathways to a deeper understanding of how energy flows through everything, including your own body and mind. Once aware, you can start to consciously align yourself with these vibrations, finding that subtle energetic connection that's always present but often overlooked in daily life. Remember, tuning into these frequencies doesn't require special tools, just a moment of quiet and a willingness to listen beyond words. The bigger picture. Throughout history, thinkers and scientists have tried to understand the fundamental nature of the universe, revealing a world that's far more linked and animated than it often appears on the surface. Many philosophies, from ancient traditions to modern scientific theories, suggest that everything in existence is part of a vast, pulsating web of energy. For example, in ancient Chinese philosophy, the concept of qi describes a vital energy flowing through the universe and us, maintaining the balance and harmony of all things. Similarly, the idea that everything is interconnected is echoed through the notion of oneness found in Eastern philosophies and certain indigenous worldviews, which see the universe as a living, breathing entity. Modern science adds weight to these ideas by uncovering the universe's energetic foundations through physics and cosmology. Quantum physics, in particular, challenges our traditional notions of separateness. It shows us that particles are entangled over vast distances, influencing each other instantly, as if by some invisible, pulsating connection. This interconnectedness isn't just a metaphor. It's backed by experiments demonstrating that particles share a fundamental energy that underpins reality itself. Cosmologists also explore the universe's birth from the Big Bang, a colossal event of pulsating energy that set the cosmos into motion billions of years ago. All these perspectives, whether scientific or philosophical, suggest that energy is the core of existence, continuously moving and intertwining everything in a complex, rhythmic dance. When we reflect on these ideas, it becomes easier to sense that what we see as separate objects and events are actually expressions of this unified energy. The universe is not static but constantly flowing, pulsating with waves of energy that connect even distant galaxies. This perspective helps us comprehend the underlying unity in creation, encouraging us to see ourselves as active participants in this energetic symphony rather than isolated observers. Recognizing this interconnected fabric may inspire us to approach life with greater compassion and awareness, understanding that our thoughts and actions ripple through the cosmic web, influencing the whole interconnected system in subtle yet meaningful ways. Understanding the universe's pulse invites us to see the world through a lens of harmony and flow. It encourages us to consider that our personal energy is not separate from the larger universal energy, but a vital part of it. This view isn't just philosophical musing. It offers a practical framework for personal growth and well-being. When we tune into this energetic interconnectedness, we might notice how our mood, health, and relationships are influenced by unseen currents that connect everything around us. For instance, practicing mindfulness or meditation can help us become aware of these energetic shifts, allowing us to align ourselves more consciously with the universe's rhythm. This awareness awakens a sense of unity, reminding us that we are both contributors to and recipients of the universe's pulsating energy. Tapping in, connecting with the universe doesn't require elaborate rituals or special equipment. Often, the simplest practices can create the most profound experiences. One such practice is stargazing, which allows you to tune into the night sky and feel a sense of connection that's hard to find elsewhere. Find a quiet spot away from bright city lights, settle into a comfortable position, and look upward. As you watch the stars, try to soften your gaze and let your mind become quiet. This gentle focus helps you attune to the vastness beyond your usual daily concerns, opening a channel to something greater than yourself. It's not just about seeing the stars, but about sensing their presence and letting that awareness ripple through your thinking and feeling. Meditation takes this connection even deeper by guiding your mind into a state of calm and openness. By focusing on your breath or repeating a simple mantra, you can quiet the chatter inside your head and create space for a subtle awareness of something larger. When you meditate with the intention of connecting to the cosmos, you begin to sense a gentle hum, the vibrations of energy that flow through everything, including you. This isn't about escaping reality, but about feeling more alive within it. Regular practice helps you become more sensitive to those subtle signals, and over time, you start noticing that your everyday moments are filled with unseen energies that link you directly to the universe's pulse. Practicing these simple techniques consistently, whether it's a few minutes of stargazing or meditation, gradually trains your mind to recognize these subtle energies. Over time, you might find your overall awareness expands, and you begin perceiving the universe's hum as a natural part of your experience. These practices are accessible to everyone, regardless of background or belief system, and they help you establish a personal connection to the larger whole. The key is to approach them with curiosity and patience, letting each session deepen your sense of belonging to the cosmos rather than just observing from a distance. Even short, daily moments of stillness and wonder can create a bridge to something eternal and ever-present. Creating your own ritual is about establishing a personal practice that resonates with your inner rhythm and helps you feel connected to the universe's pulse. This doesn't need to be complicated. It can be as simple as lighting a candle, listening to certain sounds, or spending a few moments outdoors. The goal is to set aside regular time for yourself to slow down, attune, and listen. Think of it as tuning a musical instrument. By consistently adjusting your focus, you begin to perceive the subtle vibrations that are always present but often go unnoticed. Your ritual can evolve over time, but consistency is what matters most, as it helps develop a deeper sensitivity to the universe's natural rhythm. Start by choosing an activity or environment that makes you feel relaxed and open. For some, this might mean sitting quietly in a favorite spot in nature, where the sounds of wind or water serve as a backdrop. For others, it could be a specific time of day like early morning or just before sleep, when the mind is more receptive to subtle energies. Incorporate intentional breathing or gentle movements to help synchronize your internal rhythms with the external environment. As you practice, pay attention to your sensations, perhaps a tingling feeling in your hands, a sense of warmth, or a tingling awareness in your body that signals you're in sync with the universe. The key is to be patient and non-judgmental. Your sensitivity will deepen naturally as you continue. Over time, your unique ritual can become a sacred refuge, a moment just for you to reconnect and remember your place within the vast, interconnected web of existence. It can also serve as a reminder that these feelings are always accessible, no matter where you are or what's happening around you. Think of your ritual as a bridge, a gentle, consistent practice that helps you listen to the universe's natural rhythm and recognize its subtle messages. The more you nurture this connection, the more effortlessly you'll perceive the cosmic hum unfolding all around and within you, turning everyday moments into opportunities for resonance and awareness. One practical tip is to keep a small journal of your experiences as you develop your ritual. Note any sensations, insights, or shifts you notice over days or weeks. This will help you see patterns and deepen your understanding of your personal connection to the universe. Remember, your practice is always evolving. What matters most is your willingness to show up, be present, and listen with an open heart. The universe's pulse is constantly there, humming softly beneath the surface of our busy lives. Developing your own ritual is a way to attune yourself to that frequency intentionally and make yes to its whispering presence in your everyday life. Metaphor. Imagine waking up each morning with a sense that the universe is whispering messages directly to you, but your challenge is tuning into the right station. Life can often feel like trying to find the perfect radio frequency amidst a jumble of static and noise. We go through our routines, thoughts swirling, distractions pulling us in different directions, and miss the delicate signals that could guide us or offer clarity. Just as a radio can switch between stations, our minds and spirits need to align with specific energies or frequencies to hear what truly matters. It's about creating a quiet space inside so you can pick up on the subtle cues the universe is always sending, whether in the form of inspired thoughts, feelings, or encounters. This process requires patience and practice, much like fine-tuning a radio to discover a clear, crisp sound that once seemed drowned out by static. Finding this inner frequency isn't about changing the external world, but adjusting how you perceive and connect with it. Think of it as adjusting an old radio, turning the dial slowly until the static begins to fade and the music comes through. You need to become more sensitive to your inner signals, paying close attention to your intuition, gut feelings, and even fleeting thoughts that seem to come from nowhere. It's in these moments that you can catch signals from the universe, guiding you toward decisions or directions that align with your true self. Just as different radios pick up different signals, every person has a unique frequency. Developing awareness of your particular wavelength involves quieting external noise, calming your mind, and learning to listen beyond superficial chatter. It's akin to shifting your awareness from a broad spectrum of noise to a narrow, focused channel that resonates with your authentic self. Many find that living attuned to this frequency can feel like a kind of harmony or resonance with the world around them. Once you start to recognize and tune into these subtle signals, life becomes more transparent. Problems that once felt overwhelming seem to resolve themselves or become clearer with less effort. Opportunities appear as if out of nowhere, because you've aligned with the universe's rhythm rather than fighting against it. This isn't about wishful thinking or passive waiting. It involves deliberate practices like meditation, mindfulness, or simply spending moments in quiet reflection. These habits help you develop a sharper ear for the universe's quiet messages, allowing you to differentiate between noise and real signals. Over time, tuning becomes second nature, and life starts to flow more smoothly as you become more connected to that natural cosmic rhythm, which is always present, waiting to be heard. Aligning with this cosmic frequency means harmonizing your internal state with the vibrations that permeate the universe. When you manage to attune yourself, you begin to experience a greater sense of clarity because you are listening more deeply to the signals that truly matter. Clarity emerges because you're no longer caught up in mental clutter, emotional reactions, or societal noise that cloud your perception. Instead, you develop a heightened awareness of what is essential, what aligns with your purpose, and what simply distracts you. This process often brings moments of peace because you stop fighting the inevitable uncertainties of life and instead accept the natural ebb and flow of the universe. You realize that much of the stress or confusion stem from resistance, resisting change, resisting your feelings, or resisting what is happening around you. When you align with the universe's frequency, resistance diminishes, replaced by a calm acceptance that everything is unfolding as it should. This connection doesn't mean you become passive or detached from life. Rather, it's about engaging with life more consciously, knowing you're part of a larger, interconnected system. You start noticing small signs and synchronicities that previously seemed random, but now feel meaningful. These insights help you make decisions with confidence because they're rooted in a deeper understanding rather than external noise or fleeting emotions. Many who live in this tuned state report feeling more peaceful, grounded, and centered, even amid chaos. Their inner dialogue becomes gentler, more nurturing, and less driven by fear or doubt. By adjusting your mental and emotional frequencies through practices like meditation, breathing exercises, or simply taking moments of stillness, you align yourself with a more stable, peaceful universe. This alignment acts like a lighthouse guiding you through foggy, uncertain circumstances, helping you see clearly and navigate life's twists with a sense of calm certainty. One practical way to deepen this alignment is to regularly set intentions or affirmations that reinforce your connection to a higher harmony. For example, beginning your day with a simple affirmation like, "I am open to receive the universe's guidance," helps recalibrate your inner radio. Throughout the day, taking brief pauses to breathe consciously or check in with your feelings can serve as quick tune-ups for your internal frequency. Over time, these small adjustments strengthen your ability to stay connected, even during stressful moments. The key is consistency. By frequently returning to this practice of tuning in, you nurture a state of attunement that becomes more natural, allowing clarity and peace to flow into your life with less effort. The more you listen, the easier it becomes to discern the true signals from background static, revealing pathways you might not have seen before. It's as if you're learning to play a new instrument and slowly mastering the melody of your own existence. Chapter 7. Mastering My Energy. My breakthrough. There was a moment in my life when I realized that I was essentially allowing external factors to drain my energy without even noticing. Stress from work, toxic relationships, or constant negative news had become overwhelming, leaving me feeling exhausted and disconnected from my true self. One day, I decided to stop passively accepting these influences and instead actively choose how I wanted to feel and what I wanted to let influence my mental and emotional state. The turning point came when I consciously identified the sources of negativity, whether it was certain people, habits, or thoughts, and made a decision to step away from them. I began to see my energy not as a limitless resource that I had no control over, but as something I could safeguard and cultivate by setting boundaries and creating space for positive influences. This shift didn't happen overnight. It involved a deliberate effort to notice when my energy was dipping and then intervene in small, manageable ways. I started meditating daily, even if just for a few minutes, to ground myself amid chaos. During these moments, I focused on my breath and visualized a shield of light around me, blocking out negativity and restoring my sense of calm. I also made it a point to reduce exposure to news or social media that left me feeling anxious or drained. If someone brought me down or drained my energy, I gently and politely excused myself or changed the subject. Over time, these actions started to feel more natural, like my new default mode of engaging with the world instead of reacting instinctively to external chaos. This decision to take control over my energy was empowering, because I realized that I didn't have to be a victim of circumstances, but could instead be the active architect of my emotional and energetic state. Once I started waking up to the fact that I held the power to protect and direct my energy, everything began to change. I realized that by choosing what influences I allowed into my life, I could cultivate a more positive and resilient energetic state. Instead of feeling overwhelmed by external stressors, I learned to set clear boundaries, deciding what conversations I would engage in, what environments I would spend time in, and what thoughts I would entertain. This sense of agency gave me a newfound confidence in my ability to steer my emotional landscape. I began practicing mindfulness intentionally, not just as a reaction, but as a proactive tool to shape my experience. For example, during stressful moments, I would take a few deep breaths, identify any negative thought patterns, and consciously shift to more empowering perspectives. This empowered approach allowed me to see my energy as something I could craft rather than something passive that was stolen by circumstances. I learned that I could create pockets of calm, even in busy or chaotic environments, by simply adjusting my internal attitude and focus. This shift also extended to how I interacted with others. Rather than getting pulled into their dramas or negativity, I started to maintain a more neutral, centered stance. This didn't mean I became indifferent, but rather that I was choosing how much of their energy I absorbed. As a result, I became more resilient, able to bounce back quickly from setbacks and keep my focus on what truly mattered. Over time, I saw my energetic experience as a canvas that I could paint with intentional choices, giving me a sense of empowerment and control I hadn't felt before. What once felt like a passive experience transformed into an active creation, one that I could shape by deliberate, mindful decisions. The power of awareness. Understanding how to recognize and direct our energy begins with developing a clear sense of self-awareness. When we pay close attention to our thoughts, feelings, and physical sensations, we start to notice patterns in how we respond to different situations. Daniel Siegel, a renowned psychiatrist and author, emphasizes that awareness isn't just about noticing what's happening outside of us. It's about tuning into what's happening within. He describes this internal attention as a form of conversation with ourselves, which allows us to understand our inner landscape more profoundly. Cultivating this ability helps us identify where our energy is focused and whether it aligns with our intentions or drifts elsewhere. The more we practice tuning into ourselves, the more control we gain over how we channel our energy, transforming it from a reactive force into a purposeful one. This intentional awareness forms the foundation for mastery over our lives. Recognizing where our energy is directed, whether toward positive or negative patterns, gives us the power to make conscious choices. Rather than reacting impulsively or unconsciously to life circumstances, we can pause and observe our internal state with honesty. This awareness doesn't happen overnight. It requires consistent practice and patience. Over time, it becomes easier to spot when our energy is being drained by distractions or emotional turmoil, and more importantly, to shift it back toward what truly matters. This process of refining our self-awareness acts as a guiding compass, steering us through the chaos and helping us stay aligned with our goals and values. In essence, awareness isn't just a passive skill, it's a vital tool for mastering ourselves. Approaching awareness as a skill that can be cultivated means embracing simple daily practices. You might begin by dedicating a few minutes each day to pause and observe your thoughts and feelings without judgment. Notice where your attention tends to go naturally and identify anything that feels off or misaligned. By doing this regularly, you develop a kind of internal map that shows where your energy flows and where it might be leaking. Recognizing these patterns gives you the opportunity to redirect your focus intentionally. For instance, if you notice your mind obsessing over worries or regrets, you can gently guide it back to the present moment or to what you want to create. This shift requires a gentle curiosity rather than self-criticism. Over time, these small acts of awareness become powerful, transforming your relationship with yourself and your ability to steer your energy consciously, making mastery an accessible goal rather than an elusive one. Tools for control. Managing your energy starts with simple, yet effective practices that help you stay present and centered. Grounding techniques, for example, involve reconnecting with the here and now by focusing on physical sensations. This could mean feeling the texture of an object, planting your feet firmly on the ground, or taking deep breaths while paying attention to how your body feels. These actions serve to anchor your mind, reducing feelings of anxiety or overwhelm and restoring a sense of stability. By regularly practicing grounding, you create a secondary awareness that can act as a buffer against emotional spikes or physical fatigue, making it easier to regain control when your energy starts to falter. An energy audit is another practical tool that helps you understand where your energy is going and how it fluctuates throughout the day. Start by paying close attention to your body and mind during different activities, noticing moments when you feel energized versus drained. Perhaps working on a certain task leaves you feeling exhausted, while a brief walk or chat recharges you temporarily. Keep a simple journal or mental note of these patterns, noting what depletes your energy and what replenishes it. Over time, this awareness allows you to make smarter choices, scheduling demanding tasks when you're naturally more energized and allowing yourself short breaks or lighter activities when exhaustion creeps in. Conducting regular energy audits helps you tailor your daily routine to better sustain your vitality. Integrating mindful pauses into your day can significantly influence your overall resilience. These are intentional moments where you step back from ongoing activities and focus solely on your breath or physical sensations. For instance, Taking a few deep breaths before responding to a stressful situation can slow your heart rate and clear your mind. Mindful pauses do not require much time, just a few seconds to a minute, but their impact on your emotional control can be profound. When practiced consistently, they develop a habit of awareness, which in turn enhances your ability to regulate reactions and stay balanced. Think of these pauses as mental and physical reset buttons, helping you avoid impulsive responses that drain your energy or cause unnecessary stress. Incorporating mindful pauses is a simple but powerful way to build resilience into your daily routine. Experimentation with these tools on a daily basis allows you to understand what works best for your unique energy patterns. It's not about perfection, but rather about building a toolkit of practices you can rely on whenever needed. For example, you might try grounding in the morning to start the day centered, then use mindful pauses when encountering tension or distractions. As you observe your responses, take note of which techniques give you the most relief or clarity. Over time, these small adjustments become automatic, giving you a greater sense of control over your energy levels. Remember, consistency is key. By making these practices a regular part of your daily life, you'll gradually develop a strong resilience that supports emotional stability and physical well-being. It's like strengthening your internal muscles, so you're better equipped to handle life's ups and downs without losing your footing. The key to making these practices effective is commitment. Dedicate a few minutes each day to explore different grounding techniques, perform quick energy checks, and pause intentionally throughout your routine. Start small, such as pausing for a deep breath before starting a new task, then gradually incorporate more structured routines like a 5-minute grounding session or journaling your energy fluctuations. Using a consistent approach helps establish predictable habits, making it easier to notice the positive shifts in your energy control. Over time, this intentional effort leads to a greater sense of mastery over your emotional and physical states, providing a foundation of strength no matter what challenges arise. Remember, these small daily actions can create a ripple effect, empowering you with resilience, calm, and clarity amid life's constant changes. Action step. Choosing to focus on just one simple activity or technique each week can significantly influence how you feel throughout the day. For example, many people find that spending a few minutes breathing deeply or practicing a quick meditation has an immediate calming effect. You might also consider engaging in a short walk outdoors, stretching your body, or even listening to uplifting music. The idea is to pick a practice that resonates with you and can be easily integrated into your daily routine without causing stress or extra effort. As you try it, pay close attention to how your mood shifts and whether your outlook on the day brightens. This practice isn't about perfection but about curiosity. Notice what works, what doesn't, and how your energy responds to even small changes. Sometimes, a tiny shift in how you start your day can ripple outward, impacting your overall sense of well-being much more than expected. As you experiment with this energetic tweak, allow yourself to be observant and non-judgmental. Keep a mental or written note of your feelings before and after the practice. You might notice that after just a few days, certain activities make you feel more centered or optimistic, while others seem less effective. The key is consistency. Try to practice at the same time each day to see how your habits influence your energy over the week. Recognize that every individual's response is unique. What energizes one person might not work for another, so be open to exploring different approaches until you find what truly moves the needle for you. Even a small, intentional act carried out consistently can serve as a building block for greater energetic mastery over time, helping you develop a more mindful relationship with your internal state. To make this step practical, choose one practice now, perhaps a quick mindfulness exercise, a moment of gratitude, or intentional breathing, and schedule a reminder for yourself. Commit to doing it daily for a week. After each session, take a moment to reflect on your mental and emotional state. Did your mood lift? Did your outlook shift, even slightly? Noticing these subtle changes helps reinforce the idea that your energy is malleable, and that small, conscious adjustments can have a meaningful impact. Remember, the goal isn't to overhaul your entire routine overnight, but to understand that your daily choices, even tiny ones, directly influence your internal atmosphere. This awareness paves the way for broader shifts in how you manage your energy and respond to life's challenges. Chapter 8. Rewiring my mind. My mindset shift. There was a time when I faced a situation that felt overwhelming, an unexpected setback at work that threatened to derail my confidence and focus. Instead of succumbing to frustration or disappointment, I chose to change how I viewed the event. I paused and asked myself, what can I learn from this? This small shift in thinking transformed my experience from a failure into a valuable lesson. Rather than dwelling on what went wrong, I focused on opportunities to grow and improve, which made the challenge seem less daunting and more like a stepping stone. This change wasn't just about telling myself positive things, it became a conscious practice. I started paying attention to my thoughts when stressful situations arose. Instead of defaulting to panic or self-criticism, I began reframing my thoughts to see obstacles as chances for development. For example, instead of thinking, I failed because I'm not good enough, I would think, this is a chance to get better at what I do. Over time, this shift in perspective not only reduced my stress, but also sparked motivation and resilience. It allowed me to approach problems with curiosity rather than fear, unlocking new ways to solve issues and move forward confidently. Changing how I thought about difficult circumstances affected my emotional state profoundly. I noticed that when I reframed challenges as opportunities, my feelings shifted from anxiety to calmness. My energy became more focused and optimistic. It was as if my mind and body responded positively to this new outlook. I felt lighter, more capable, and less exhausted by the constant battle against negativity. This experience illuminated a simple truth. Our thoughts have a powerful influence on how we feel and behave. When we choose to see setbacks as learning moments instead of failures, we create a more positive cycle of growth and confidence. This shift not only alters our mental state, but can also spark a ripple effect through our entire life, making ongoing challenges easier to handle and turning everyday struggles into opportunities for personal development. One practical way to foster this shift involves actively practicing gratitude or looking for silver linings during tough times. For instance, after a stressful day, take a moment to identify what conditions or mistakes led to the difficulty, and then list at least one thing you learned or one way to improve. This habit rewires your brain over time to focus on possibilities rather than limitations. Remember, changing your mindset isn't about denying reality or pretending problems don't exist. It's about choosing a perspective that empowers you to grow despite challenges. By consistently reframing your thoughts, you'll start noticing how your emotional state and energy levels become more resilient, making it easier to face whatever comes your way with a clearer, calmer mind. The psychology of change. Understanding how our minds can adapt and reshape itself is fundamental to making lasting change. One of the most powerful concepts in this area is neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections throughout life. For many years, scientists believed the brain's wiring was fixed after childhood, but now we know that experience, learning, and even deliberate effort can modify brain structure and function. When we actively pursue new ways of thinking or behaving, we're effectively rewiring our mental pathways, gradually replacing old patterns that no longer serve us. This process isn't instant. It requires patience and consistent effort, but the good news is that change is always within reach. Every time you choose to think differently or take a new action, you are strengthening new neural pathways that support those behaviors, making it easier over time to sustain positive habits. Another crucial tool for reshaping the mind is cognitive reframing, a technique that involves consciously changing how you interpret situations. Instead of viewing a setback as a failure, you learn to see it as an opportunity for growth. This shift in perspective helps reduce negative emotional responses and opens the door for constructive action. For example, if you catch yourself thinking, "I'm terrible at this," reframing might lead to, "I'm still learning, and every attempt brings me closer to mastery." Over time, this mental adjustment rewires your brain to focus on possibilities rather than limitations. Cognitive reframing isn't about denying reality, but about changing your mental lens so that your mindset supports resilience and optimism. It's a simple but powerful step toward cultivating a mindset that actively supports positive change. Building on these ideas, it's essential to recognize that the act of consciously choosing new thoughts and behaviors creates a ripple effect. Each small shift chips away at old thought patterns, paving the way for bigger transformations. It's like retraining a muscle. Consistent effort gradually rewires the brain, making new habits feel more natural. To leverage this, you can practice daily mental exercises such as journaling your thoughts, challenging negative beliefs, and intentionally focusing on positive aspects of your life. Remember, your brain is highly adaptable, and with deliberate practice, it can support your growth far beyond what you might have imagined. The key lies in persistence, making small, consistent adjustments that, over time, produce profound changes in how you think, feel, and act. Believing in the brain's plasticity is just the first step. The next step is trusting that your thoughts have the power to shape your reality. When you focus your mental energy on positive intentions and visualize a better version of yourself, your brain starts to align with those possibilities. This demonstrates that change begins with belief, believing that transformation is possible and that you have the capacity to facilitate it. Mental imagery and affirmations are tools that reinforce your new beliefs, making them more deeply ingrained. When you repeatedly tell yourself, "I can improve," or "I am capable," you reinforce neural pathways that support perseverance and self-confidence. This conscious focus on growth signals your brain to seek out opportunities for achievement, making the process of change not just possible, but inevitable if you stay committed. So remember, shaping your brain for positive change isn't just about willpower. It's about understanding and harnessing the brain's innate capacity to reconfigure itself. Small, intentional shifts in your thinking can lead to major shifts in your life. Begin by gently challenging old beliefs and replacing them with empowering ones, and watch how your brain begins to support new, healthier patterns. Keep in mind that consistency is key. Just as muscles strengthen with repeated effort, your mental pathways become more resilient and supportive with regular practice. With patience and clarity, you'll notice that change becomes a natural part of how you see and navigate the world. Practical exercise. Changing how you think isn't about simply telling yourself to stop feeling a certain way. It's about actively replacing unhelpful beliefs with empowering ones. To start, identify a negative thought or belief that tends to hold you back. Something like "I'm not good enough" or "things will never work out for me." Once you've pinpointed this belief, pause for a moment and really acknowledge how it makes you feel. Recognizing the emotional impact helps underline why it's worth changing. The next step is to challenge that thought by asking yourself a few questions. Is this belief rooted in facts or just a story I tell myself? What evidence do I have that supports or contradicts it? Often, you'll find that negative beliefs are based on assumptions rather than facts. When you see that, you open up space to craft a more balanced, uplifting statement. Instead of "I'm not good enough," you might replace it with "I have strengths and I am capable of growth." This isn't about ignoring reality, but about reframing your perspective. Practice this whenever a negative belief comes up, making a conscious effort to replace it with a positive, energizing alternative. Over time, this process becomes more natural, gradually rewiring your mind to see possibilities instead of obstacles. It's a simple but powerful way to shift your energy and set a tone of confidence for the day ahead. Promoting daily practice is key to shifting and maintaining a more positive outlook. Like any new habit, these mental changes require consistency. Dedicate a few minutes each morning or evening to consciously practice this thought swap. For example, you could keep a small journal where you note down negative beliefs that arise during the day. Once identified, immediately write down a positive alternative. The act of writing reinforces the new belief and helps embed it into your daily thought patterns. A good way to make this stick is to start your day with 1 or 2 affirmations based on your positive substitutions. During the day, whenever negative thoughts surface, consciously replace them with these affirmations or new beliefs. Consistent repetition is like giving your brain a nudge in the right direction, strengthening the neural pathways associated with positive thinking. You'll find that over weeks or even a couple of months, these new beliefs become more internalized, naturally influencing your mood and actions. Remember, it's normal for some days to feel harder than others. Persistence is what counts. Think of it as training your mind like a muscle. With each effort, you build resilience against negativity and create a foundation of energetic confidence. Ultimately, the goal of this practice is to develop a habit of conscious awareness and intentional thought reversal. When negative beliefs threaten to take over, having a routine to counteract them transforms your relationship with your inner voice. As you persist, you'll notice a gradual shift, more positivity, less doubt, and increased motivation. Keep in mind that the impact of these small daily efforts accumulates over time, subtly reshaping your energetic outlook into one that fosters growth and resilience. One practical tip to enhance this process is to pair your thought swap with physical or behavioral cues, such as taking a deep breath or smiling, making the practice more engaging and tangible. This combination anchors your new beliefs and makes it easier to draw upon them when needed most, especially during stressful or challenging moments. This ongoing commitment not only rewires your mind, but also prepares you to face life's ups and downs with a more positive, energized spirit. Inspiration. Think of your mind as a garden. The thoughts and feelings you plant within it are like seeds. When you choose to focus on positive, uplifting ideas, you're effectively planting seeds of happiness, hope, and motivation. These positive seeds don't sprout overnight. They need time, nurturing, and patience to grow into vibrant, flourishing parts of your mental landscape. Just as a garden depends on careful planting and regular tending, your mind requires deliberate effort to cultivate beneficial thoughts and eliminate weeds of negativity. The types of seeds you plant shape your mental environment profoundly. Filling your mind with gratitude, affirmations, and empowering beliefs can lead to resilience and a sense of vitality. Conversely, if you allow doubt, fear, or doubt to take root, they can overshadow the positive growth you wish to see. Remaining aware of what thoughts you nurture is essential because every mental seed has the potential to grow into either a weed or a flower, influencing your overall well-being and outlook on life. It's helpful to recognize that planting positive seeds is an ongoing process. It involves intentional choices in daily life, whether it's choosing encouraging words, practicing mindfulness, or taking time to reflect on what truly matters. Like tending a garden, this process requires consistency. The more you nurture healthy thoughts, the stronger they become. Regularly removing mental weeds, doubts, worries, or harmful beliefs can create space for more positive seeds to grow and flourish. Over time, with patience and care, your mind can transform into a lush, resilient garden that supports your growth and happiness. This approach emphasizes that your mental environment is not fixed. It changes depending on what you intentionally focus on and nurture. Each positive intention acts as a watering can, helping your preferred thoughts thrive. Starting small, maybe with daily affirmations or a moment of gratitude, can have a ripple effect, gradually transforming your entire mindset into a garden rich with vitality and resilience. Creating a mental space that supports resilience means tending to it daily and being mindful of the thoughts you allow to dominate. Resilience isn't just about bouncing back from setbacks. It's about cultivating strength from within so setbacks become stepping stones instead of barriers. To build this mental environment, it helps to focus on practices that reinforce your capacity to withstand challenges, such as developing self-compassion, practicing mindfulness, and challenging negative self-talk. These methods act like fertilizers that enrich your mental soil, making it easier for positive, resilient thoughts to grow strong roots. Vitality in the mind is also closely linked to energy and enthusiasm. When your mental environment is infused with positive sentiments, it naturally fuels your motivation and creativity. This doesn't mean ignoring difficulties, but instead approaching problems with a mindset rooted in hope and solutions. Creating opportunities to celebrate small wins, staying connected to your purpose, and engaging in activities that make you feel alive all serve as sunlight that energizes your mental garden. Over time, these practices strengthen your mental resilience, helping you navigate life's inevitable ups and downs with greater ease. Building a nurturing mental environment involves awareness, being conscious of what thoughts, feelings, and patterns you're fostering. It helps to regularly check in with yourself and identify if your mental garden is overrun with weeds like negativity, self-doubt, or stress. When such weeds appear, consciously remove them through techniques like deep breathing, journaling, or reframing negative thoughts into positive or neutral ones. Replacing harmful beliefs with empowering perspectives helps create a foundation of vitality and resilience that grows stronger each day. Moreover, surrounding yourself with supportive influences, including inspiring books, positive affirmations, and encouraging people, acts like planting beneficial seeds from external sources. Integrating these into your daily routine can significantly boost your mental health. Remember, nurturing your mind isn't a one-time effort, but an ongoing process that requires patience and consistency. As you tend to this mental garden, you'll notice increased clarity, strength, and vitality, helping you face each day with renewed energy and confidence. The key is to value the small efforts as seeds that, when cultivated regularly, will ultimately lead to a flourishing mental landscape full of resilience and vitality. Chapter 9. Radiating my energy. My ripple effect. This practice of maintaining a positive energy isn't about pretending everything is perfect. Instead, it's about choosing to focus on what's good, even amid challenges. When I intentionally hold on to hope and look for solutions rather than dwelling on problems, it creates a contagious sense of resilience around me. People notice this and often feel encouraged to navigate their own struggles with a more optimistic view. What's truly remarkable is that these shifts aren't limited to grand gestures. They can be as simple as maintaining a hopeful tone during conversations or taking a moment to acknowledge someone's effort. Over time, these small shifts tend to ripple outward, influencing colleagues, friends, and even strangers, creating a more uplifting environment for everyone. Changing my energy was the first step, but I soon realized that my attitude and actions could serve as a catalyst for others to follow. When I started practicing gratitude daily, expressing kindness spontaneously, and choosing optimism, I noticed others responding in kind. Sometimes, people would share their own positive experiences or become more open and trusting. It's as if my efforts created an invisible wave that lifted everyone's spirits, even if only slightly. Seeing this unfold reassured me that my mindset wasn't just about personal growth. It could ripple outward and influence a broader community. It became clear that positivity, when genuinely cultivated, acts as a kind of seed that, when planted, can grow into a forest of encouraging energy shared across many hearts and minds. Even just small changes in my behavior started making noticeable differences. I began noticing that I attracted more positive interactions simply by radiating genuine warmth. People were more willing to engage, share, and support each other in a setting where I was actively choosing kindness. For example, complimenting someone's effort or offering a kind word when someone seemed down had a far-reaching effect, encouraging others to do the same in turn. This creates a cycle of kindness and goodwill that can extend beyond immediate environments. When I focus on cultivating this ripple effect intentionally, I see it as a chain reaction. Each small act of positivity sparks another, eventually forming a broad wave that influences relationships, workplaces, and even entire communities. This experience taught me that even the smallest intentional shift in energy can serve as an invitation for others to join in creating a more positive collective atmosphere. Practicing this ripple effect means being mindful of the energy you operate from and realizing that your actions matter more than you might think. A simple practice I've found useful is starting each day with a moment of gratitude, which sets a positive tone. Throughout the day, making small self-aware choices, like being patient, offering encouragement, or just sharing a genuine smile, can quietly inspire others to do the same. Over time, what seemed like minor acts become part of a larger movement towards upliftment. Real change can happen when everyone recognizes that their attitudes and actions influence those around them, creating a circle of continual positive feedback. By consciously applying these principles, you can help build a ripple effect that spreads far beyond the initial moment, connecting and uplifting others, even in the most unexpected ways. The science of influence. Our actions and emotions don't exist in isolation. Instead, they ripple through the groups and communities we belong to, often in ways we're unaware of. Research on social contagion reveals that emotions like happiness, stress, or even fatigue spread from person to person, much like a virus. For instance, studies have shown that if one person in a network becomes happier, their friends, friends of friends, and even acquaintances are more likely to experience increases in positive feelings. This phenomenon explains why good news, enthusiasm, or negativity can quickly permeate social environments, altering the mood of entire groups. Social networks act like pathways that transmit not just information, but also emotional states, reinforcing how interconnected we truly are. Understanding that energy and emotions are contagious empowers us to become intentional about what we share. When I think about my own circles, I realize that a simple smile or a kind word can lift someone's mood and set off a chain reaction, spreading positivity further than I might expect. Positivity, in particular, has a compounding effect. It tends to be more contagious than negativity. When we bring genuine optimism and encouragement into our interactions, it can influence others in profound ways. This is not about superficial cheerfulness, but about genuine expressions of hope and kindness that create a ripple effect. We can consciously choose to be sources of uplifting energy, knowing it can improve not only our lives but those around us as well. Consider the practical steps of harnessing this power of influence. First, recognize that your mood and attitude are more impactful than you think. Small acts, like expressing gratitude or sharing an encouraging story, can spark waves of positivity that spread through your community. Second, pay attention to your own energy levels. Maintaining a positive outlook can be a deliberate practice. Third, seek opportunities to uplift others actively, whether through compliments, active listening, or simply being present. Since emotions behave like contagions, a small effort on your part can help create a more energetic and resilient environment around you. Ultimately, fostering a mindset of positivity doesn't just benefit you, it has the potential to influence entire groups, creating a more supportive and cohesive community. Spreading light. One of the easiest ways to make a difference in both your life and others is through small acts of kindness. These gestures don't have to be grand or complicated. Even simple actions like holding the door open, offering a genuine smile, or saying a warm thank you can brighten someone's day. Authentic conversations also carry a powerful capacity to spread positivity. Taking time to listen sincerely, showing genuine interest in what others are saying, and sharing honestly can foster connections that uplift everyone involved. These interactions create ripples. When we act kindly or listen with genuine interest, we encourage others to do the same, gradually creating a more positive environment around us. In these small moments, we have the power to change the tone of an entire day, uplifting spirits and inspiring kindness in return. Personally, I've found that embracing these simple approaches transforms not just how others see me, but also how I feel inside. When I start my day by complimenting a coworker or reach out with a personal note to someone, I notice my own mood lightening. It's remarkable how these moments of genuine human connection can shift the energy of a room. Over time, I realized that consistent, sincere acts of kindness build trust and set a tone of openness and warmth. These small actions are accessible to everyone, no special skills or resources are needed, and yet their impact can be profound. They help create a ripple effect, encouraging others to behave similarly, which gradually fosters a more compassionate community. This approach doesn't require grand gestures or elaborate plans, just a conscious choice to spread light through everyday interactions. Another way to share positive energy is through authentic conversations. This means being truly present when talking to someone, without distractions or rushing to an end. Asking open-ended questions, listening attentively, and responding with honest interest makes others feel valued and seen. For example, instead of just asking, "How are you?" and moving on, try asking, "What's been the highlight of your week?" Or "How are you really feeling about that project?" These questions invite deeper engagement and encourage honesty. When people sense genuine attention, they tend to relax and open up, creating a space where positivity can flourish. Authentic conversations foster trust and connection, making relationships more meaningful. When we take an interest in others' lives sincerely, it not only benefits them, but it also nurtures our own sense of fulfillment and purpose in daily interactions. Practicing these methods consistently can become a natural part of your routine. Over time, you'll notice small changes, more smiles on the street, deeper connections with colleagues, and a general sense that your environment feels warmer and more welcoming. Keep in mind that genuine kindness and authentic conversations are not about expecting something in return. They are about sharing a piece of yourself to brighten someone else's day. As you incorporate these practices, remember that everyone has the capacity to contribute positively. Often, a simple act or heartfelt conversation can serve as a moment of light in someone's routine, making a lasting difference. Start noticing opportunities around you. Sometimes just a kind word or listening ear is all it takes to ignite a little more light in the world. Action plan. Making a conscious decision to carry out an act of kindness, no matter how small, can significantly influence your outlook and the energy around you. It doesn't need to be a grand gesture. Even simple actions like smiling at a stranger, holding the door open, or sending a heartfelt message can create ripples of positivity. The goal here is to become more aware of opportunities to help or uplift others throughout your day. By setting this intention at the start of each week, you create a dedicated space for mindful actions that can brighten someone's day and also boost your own sense of fulfillment. When you decide on one specific act, you give yourself a clear target to focus on, making it easier to follow through. It helps you tune in to the small moments where kindness can pop up naturally, instead of waiting for a big opportunity that may never arise. If you think about it, doing one intentional act a day or week can become a habit that gradually expands to more acts over time. The key is not just the act itself, but the attention you bring to it, which transforms a basic gesture into a meaningful connection. This shift in mindset turns kindness into a daily practice rather than an afterthought or occasional gesture. To help you choose your act, it can be useful to consider the needs of others around you. For example, if you notice someone struggling with a heavy load, offering assistance can be more impactful than a random compliment. Or, you might decide to leave a positive note for a coworker or family member, creating moments of surprise and delight. Keeping your goals simple and achievable ensures that it's not overwhelming, and as you get into the habit, you might find yourself naturally motivated to do more. Remember, the goal isn't perfection but consistency. Doing your part each week adds up to a more connected, compassionate environment. After completing your chosen act of kindness, take a moment to reflect honestly on the experience. Reflection helps you understand the impact of your actions both externally and internally. Think about how the act made the other person feel. Did it brighten their day, ease their burden, or simply bring a smile? Observing their reaction can reveal the power small gestures have in creating positive change. Sometimes, people respond in ways we don't expect, such as a heartfelt thank you or an unspoken gesture of gratitude, which can reinforce the value of kindness. Equally important is how the act affected you. Did it make you feel more connected, hopeful, or proud? Often, performing a kind act shifts our mood, reminding us of the good in humanity and our ability to make a difference. Strategic reflection can be as simple as asking yourself or journaling about what you experienced, what you learned from the interaction, or how it challenged or reinforced your beliefs. This process deepens your understanding of the ripple effects kindness can have and keeps you motivated to continue these practices. Sharing your experience with a trusted friend or family member can also amplify the positive effects. While you don't need to boast, discussing how giving made you feel can inspire others to act and foster a culture of caring within your community. Noticing the subtle changes in your attitude or outlook after repeated acts can boost your confidence in the power of small, deliberate kindnesses. Over time, these reflections build a habit of mindful awareness, encouraging you to seek out new opportunities for positive engagement and to appreciate the ongoing influence of your actions. A helpful tip is to keep a simple journal or mental note of your weekly act and its effects. Tracking your experiences allows you to see patterns and recognize the cumulative impact of your kindnesses. It's often the small, consistent efforts that create meaningful shifts, both in your life and in those around you. Remember, kindness isn't about grand gestures alone. It's about embedding small moments of compassion into daily routines, making them a natural part of who you are. This ongoing practice fosters a more empathetic mindset and helps build stronger connections, one act at a time. Chapter 10. The Dance of Self-Discovery. My Evolving Self. This ongoing practice of sensing and attuning to my pulse goes beyond just noticing. It involves a gentle calibration, learning how to breathe with these sensations and interpret their messages. I began to see moments where my pulse would slow and steady as signs of calm or centeredness, while rapid, irregular beats signaled chaos or overwhelm. Over time, I learned that I could consciously influence my pulse through breathing techniques or mindful pauses. This not only helps manage stress, but also deepens my understanding of how I respond to different situations. For example, in times of uncertainty, I might focus on slow, deliberate breaths to restore balance, which tells me I have the capacity to influence my state. This practice of sensing and responding has become a mirror reflecting my inner truth, helping me become clearer about who I am beneath the surface layers of external expectations and distractions. In essence, working with my pulse has transformed how I perceive my boundaries and energy flow. I now understand that my vitality isn't a fixed state, but something that fluctuates based on my environment, choices, and awareness. Acknowledging these fluctuations fosters a gentler acceptance of myself, recognizing that my evolving self is a continuous process shaped by these internal signals. This awareness has also shown me the importance of regular self-check-ins, pausing to ask, how is my pulse pacing right now? And based on the answer, adjusting my actions accordingly. Such simple steps make a big difference, turning self-awareness into an ongoing dialogue rather than a passive observation. As I refine this skill, I find myself more equipped to navigate challenges with resilience, guided by a subtle but powerful sense of inner knowing that deepens my connection with who I truly am. The journey of you. Think of your energy as a mirror that shows who you genuinely are beyond the surface. It's like a transparent window into your thoughts, feelings, and core beliefs. When you notice certain emotional patterns or reactions, they reveal how you're really feeling underneath the surface of daily life. Instead of judging these signals, see them as invaluable feedback about your inner state. For example, if you feel anxious or restless, that might be pointing to unmet needs or unresolved fears. Recognizing energy this way transforms it from something uncontrollable into a clear indicator of your authentic self. By understanding energy as a reflection, you begin to see how your state of mind and emotional health are interconnected. This perspective encourages honest self-assessment and helps you accept where you are, without self-criticism, setting the stage for genuine growth. Seeing energy as a mirror also invites you to acknowledge your potential. Your inner energy isn't fixed. It's a dynamic field that can be shaped by your thoughts, choices, and actions. If your energy tends to be heavy or negative, it points to areas where you might focus your efforts to shift. Conversely, if it feels light and joyful, it indicates alignment with your authentic desires. Recognizing this correspondence allows you to tap into your inner reservoir of strength and creativity. It's as if your energy holds the blueprint of your true possibilities, waiting to be uncovered. When you treat energy as a reflective tool, you start to realize that your mindset and emotional patterns are powerful influencers of your reality, shaping your experiences in subtle but profound ways. Once you understand your energy as a mirror, the next step is to realize how deliberately changing it can unveil new parts of who you are. Our current identity isn't a fixed label. It's a fluid construct that evolves as our energy shifts over time. For instance, feeling more calm and open in your daily life might reveal hidden strengths like patience or resilience you weren't aware of before. On the other hand, when you intentionally adopt a more positive and energized outlook, you might discover ambitions, talents, or passions that had been suppressed. Small changes in your mood or focus can lead to big revelations about what you're capable of and who you truly want to become. Think of it like tuning a musical instrument. You adjust the strings, and suddenly you hear different melodies that were always there but hidden beneath the noise. Your energy acts as the tuning fork that helps you discover these new notes about yourself. This process isn't about pretending to feel a certain way, but about experimenting with different states of being. For example, trying out gratitude instead of frustration or openness instead of defensiveness can open doors to fresh perspectives. As you practice shifting your energy, perhaps through breath work, movement, or mindful reflection, you start to notice different qualities emerging within you. These new qualities may not be obvious at first, but over time, they become integral parts of your identity. This transformation encourages you to see yourself less as a fixed personality and more as an evolving being, capable of cultivating multiple facets that contribute to a richer, more authentic life. It's like peeling back layers to reveal a more expansive version of yourself, one that's more aligned with your deepest desires. Furthermore, intentionally shifting your energy creates a feedback loop where each change fuels the next. As you become more aware of how your inner state influences your actions and interactions, you gain greater control over your life. This empowerment stems from understanding that your energy is a choice, a tool that, when consciously directed, can unlock unexplored parts of your identity. For example, adopting a mindset of curiosity can lead you to try new hobbies or approach challenges differently. These experiments can unveil talents and interests you never thought possible. Over time, this ongoing process of energy shifting becomes a practice of building a more authentic, versatile self, one that's capable of adapting and thriving in various circumstances while staying true to your core essence. In practical terms, start noticing the small shifts in how you feel and behave when you change your thoughts or environment. For example, consciously taking a few deep breaths before a stressful situation can alter your energy and reveal calm and confidence that were hidden beneath anxiety. Keep a journal to track these changes and observe recurring patterns. Over time, you'll recognize which practices most effectively help you uncover new aspects of yourself. Remember, the power to transform your internal landscape lies within your awareness and willingness to explore different energetic states. With consistent attention, your energy becomes a tool not just for reflection, but for continuous discovery and growth. Daily practice. Vision. When you think about dancing freely with life's energies, it's about feeling completely at ease in your own skin, allowing your awareness to flow without resistance. This state isn't about controlling everything around you, but about aligning yourself with the natural rhythm of life. Picture yourself moving effortlessly, each step inspired by your inner rhythm rather than external demands. This freedom comes from cultivating a deep sense of self-awareness, where you notice your thoughts, feelings, and bodily sensations without judgment. As you become more attuned to yourself, the external chaos begins to fade into the background, less able to disturb your inner peace. Instead of reacting impulsively to outside events, you respond from a centered place, maintaining clarity and calmness even amid turmoil. This shift isn't about suppressing emotions, but about observing them, allowing their energy to move through you without becoming overwhelmed. Practicing this kind of presence helps you develop resilience, so external chaos never shakes your core because you remember that your true strength lies within. Just like a dancer who knows their own rhythm, you learn to trust your internal beat, feeling the vitality that comes from being fully connected to yourself while navigating life's unpredictable currents. Envision a future where your life's rhythm is no longer dictated by external circumstances, but by your authentic inner pulse. When you operate from a place of genuine self-awareness, your actions become more aligned, and your presence exudes a natural confidence. This state allows you to face challenges with resilience because you're rooted in your truth, not in fear of external judgment or pressure. As you flow with your internal rhythm, your energy feels more vibrant and consistent. You become a beacon of authenticity that draws positivity and clarity. This glowing sense of self-connection makes it easier to set boundaries, make honest decisions, and maintain emotional balance through ups and downs. The process involves recognizing your unique patterns, values, and strengths and consistently reconstructing your life around them. When you do, resilience isn't about brute strength, but about flexibility, adapting without losing your core identity. Over time, this authenticity becomes natural and even contagious, inspiring others to find their own beats as well. If you continuously nurture this internal flow, you'll notice that challenges become opportunities for growth rather than threats, and your overall resilience forms a steady foundation for a life that truly reflects who you are at your best. Chapter 11: The Pulse That Shapes Us All. My biggest lesson: the collective pulse. Every one of us carries a unique vibrational signature, a combination of thoughts, emotions, and intentions that shape our personal energy. Yet, these energies do not exist in isolation. They are pieces of a vast, interconnected web that ties us to others and to the universe itself. Think of it as an invisible network where each individual's energy acts as a thread, woven into the fabric of collective consciousness. This idea aligns closely with Carl Jung's concept of the collective unconscious, the idea that beneath our individual minds lies a shared pool of archetypes, symbols, and memories that belong to all humanity. When we recognize that our inner experiences are part of this larger story, it becomes easier to see how personal growth and healing ripple outward, influencing and being influenced by the collective energy around us. Understanding this interconnectedness invites us to see ourselves not as isolated islands, but as integral parts of a greater whole, where our inner harmony contributes to global harmony. This perspective encourages us to view our personal energies as threads connecting us to a larger cosmic story, a story that extends beyond our individual lives into something much broader. Every thought we hold, every emotion we emit, resonates outward, affecting the energetic field that surrounds and links us all. When we feel a sense of connection to others, whether through shared experiences or collective hopes, it's because those emotional signals are traveling along these energetic threads, strengthening the web that binds us. In this way, our personal energies partake in a continuous dialogue with the universe, echoing Jung's idea that the unconscious stores universal symbols and themes that all humans tap into regardless of their background or culture. Recognizing this connection allows us to see our personal struggles and triumphs as part of an ongoing human saga, one that is woven into the vast cosmic pattern that sustains life and consciousness itself. It turns our individual experiences into meaningful contributions to the collective flow, reminding us that healing and growth are never truly separate from the interconnected web we all share. This understanding can inspire us to cultivate greater awareness of our energetic states and how they influence not just ourselves but the collective energy field. Simple practices like mindfulness or meditation serve as tools for tuning into these subtle energies, helping us become more conscious of the signals we send into the universe. Becoming aware of how our internal states ripple outward can motivate us to focus on positive emotions and constructive thoughts, knowing that these vibrations contribute to a healthier collective. For example, when we approach our challenges with compassion or gratitude, we send out energy that can uplift others, creating a feedback loop that benefits everyone involved. Ultimately, recognizing our role in the larger story empowers us to act intentionally, knowing that even small shifts in our energy can help foster a more connected, harmonious world. Every moment offers an opportunity to align consciously with this collective pulse, making our individual journeys part of a greater, meaningful human symphony. Your legacy. Creating this ripple effect begins with awareness, paying attention to your mindset, your words, and your actions. When you face challenges, instead of dwelling on what's wrong, look for what you can learn or how you can grow. Your resilience and optimism become contagious, especially if you maintain a sense of kindness and patience, even during tough times. Small acts of encouragement, sharing a kind word, offering a genuine smile, or simply listening deeply, can amplify your positive energy. Over time, these acts build a momentum that encourages others to adopt a similar outlook. Remember, even when you're by yourself, your internal state radiates outward, influencing everyone you interact with. Your goal should be to develop a mindset rooted in gratitude and hope, which naturally shines through your interactions. When you approach life with this perspective, you no longer see obstacles as barriers, but as opportunities for growth and learning. That shift alone can inspire colleagues, friends, and family to reevaluate their own outlooks. Think of your energy as a kind of beacon, brightening dark spaces and encouraging others to find their own light. Consistently practicing gratitude, mindfulness, and compassion enhances this beacon, turning it into a force that can positively influence entire communities. Over time, your leadership in fostering empowerment may become a key part of your legacy, inspiring others to pay it forward in their own unique ways. Viewing your energy as part of your legacy shifts your focus from immediate gratification to long-term impact. Every conversation, gesture, and decision adds to a cumulative effect that can uplift or diminish the collective well-being of your community. For example, a kind word offered during a challenging moment can inspire someone's resilience long after the moment has passed. Conversely, persistent negativity or impatience can create ripples that undermine trust and connection. By intentionally cultivating empowering energy, you contribute to a culture of hope and kindness. Over time, this creates a ripple effect. Each person influenced by your example goes on to influence others, ultimately weaving a fabric of positivity that can withstand external storms and time. You are responsible for nurturing this energy daily, knowing that it builds a lasting legacy in ways you might not see immediately. It's a quiet yet powerful force that influences attitudes, behaviors, and even the collective spirit of your surroundings. Think of it as planting seeds, small acts of kindness and positive interactions that blossom into a broader movement of encouragement. Such actions may seem insignificant at the moment, but when accumulated, they can shift the tone of entire communities or workplaces. Recognizing that your energy is a form of legacy encourages you to act with greater awareness and compassion, understanding that your influence extends far beyond just your immediate environment. This perspective transforms everyday interactions into lasting contributions to the world around you, creating a legacy of love, hope, and resilience. To keep this in mind practically, consider how your daily habits and mindset choices serve as seeds for your legacy. Simple practices like setting an intention each morning to radiate kindness or pausing before reacting negatively can reinforce your commitment to cultivating positive energy. Over time, this conscious effort becomes second nature, amplifying your influence in silent but impactful ways. Remember, the legacy you leave isn't measured solely by achievements, but also by the energy you put into the world and how it ripples beyond your immediate sight. Your ongoing emphasis on positivity and empowerment can inspire others to reflect on their own energy, so they too tend to the seeds they plant each day. Closing image. Imagine standing in a space where your presence isn't just noticed, but felt deeply by those around you. Your energy, like a steady glow, radiates outward, touching everything in your vicinity. This is about recognizing that within you lies a special vibrancy, a pulse that can capture attention and inspire others. Instead of thinking of yourself as a small point in the world, view yourself as a glowing beacon, constantly pulsing with your essence, lighting the path for anyone nearby. When you see yourself this way, it becomes easier to project confidence and authenticity because you're acknowledging your own unique power. Think of it as a lighthouse guiding ships through darkness. Your energy guides others toward inspiration and clarity. One way to strengthen this visualization is to imagine your pulse as a gentle wave of light that expands with every breath you take. As you breathe in, feel that light grow brighter. As you breathe out, it extends further, reaching beyond your immediate space. This process helps you to internalize the idea that your vibe isn't static. It's alive and adaptable, constantly flowing and touching new areas. You might picture your aura as a colorful, luminous sphere that pulses rhythmically, each beat sending ripples outward. This mental image isn't just a fanciful exercise, but a powerful reminder that your energy is a tool you can intentionally amplify. When you consistently reinforce this image, it becomes second nature to carry yourself with awareness of the light you're sending into the world. Think about moments when you've been in a lively crowd or a bustling room. Notice how some individuals seem to naturally stand out, not necessarily because of their words or actions, but because of their undeniable presence. They seem to glow with confidence and warmth, drawing others toward them, almost magnetically. You can foster this same quality by imagining yourself as that beacon in any situation. Visualize your pulsing energy as a shining light that can adapt to different environments. Whether you're at work, with friends, or alone, remember that your unique energy, when consciously directed, has the power to influence and uplift not just your mood, but also those of others around you. Once you accept that your inner energy is a source of illumination, the next step is to see its influence. Your vibrant pulse isn't just about feeling good internally. It acts as a guiding light for others, especially during times of uncertainty or struggle. When you shine brightly, you provide a sense of stability and hope for those who may be searching for direction. Recognizing this, you start to understand that your authenticity and confidence become contagious, encouraging others to embrace their own light. It's about knowing that by maintaining your vibrancy, you are actively helping to create brighter, more hopeful environments around you. This awareness can transform how you approach interactions. For instance, if someone is feeling down, instead of trying to fix their problem immediately, you can simply be a source of unshakable positivity, radiating a calm confidence that inspires them to find their own inner strength. Your light, in effect, becomes a catalyst for transformation, not by force, but by your presence alone. Just as a lighthouse's beam guides ships without a word, your energetic glow can steer others safely through their personal storms. It's a gentle but powerful reminder that your everyday actions, grounded in authenticity, have an impact far greater than you might assume. Building on this idea, consider moments when your own mood has shifted because someone's genuine positivity affected you. Think about how their openness and warmth helped you see new possibilities. This demonstrates how your radiant energy can serve as a beacon, not only guiding others, but also inspiring them to activate their own inner light. The more conscious you are of this role, the more intentional you can be in cultivating and sharing your pulse. It becomes a cycle. Your vibrancy ignites others, who in turn spread their newfound light, creating a ripple effect that can enhance entire communities or relationships. To make this practical, try to develop a habit of periodically checking in with your energy. When you notice your pulse is strong, take a moment to consciously direct that light outward. You can do this through a brief mental affirmation, visualizing your energy expanding and touching others nearby. This simple act can reinforce your self-awareness and make your natural glow more intentional. Remember, your most authentic energy is the brightest, so embracing your true self and sharing that freely is the most effective way to serve as a guiding light for others. Epilogue, the pulse is you. My final confession. Recently, I experienced a moment where I truly felt the pulse of life coursing through me. It wasn't a dramatic event or something you'd find in a movie. Rather, it was a simple, quiet awareness that suddenly woke me up to the present moment. I was sitting outside, watching the sky change colors as the day faded into evening, and I felt a strange but deep connection to everything around me. This feeling wasn't just about being present. It was like a subtle shift in my consciousness, where I could sense the flow of energy in my body, in the air, and in the world beyond my senses. That day, I realized that sensing life's pulse is a continuous lesson. It teaches patience, presence, and a deeper understanding of ourselves and the environment. Over time, I've come to see these moments as opportunities for growth, as they reveal how interconnected we truly are, if only we pause long enough to notice. This ongoing journey has become more than a fleeting experience. Recognizing this energy, feeling it resonate within me, I've grown more attuned to the subtle messages my body sends. Each time I practice awareness, I notice small shifts, a quickening heart, a relaxed breath, an alertness that wasn't there before. Because energy is life itself, tuning into it is like unlocking a hidden language that can guide us through daily challenges, emotional ups and downs, and even moments of stillness. Every insight gained from feeling this pulse has encouraged me to stay grounded and connected, reminding me that life is always moving, always alive, and that I can choose to tune into that movement whenever I wish. Seeing the pulse of life as an ongoing teacher helps me stay humble and curious, knowing there's always more to learn about my own energy and the world around me. One practical way to deepen this awareness is by developing simple daily routines that focus on sensing your body's energy. For example, starting the day with a few minutes of mindful breathing, paying close attention to how your chest rises and falls, can create a foundation for more conscious energy awareness. During the day, pause periodically to check in with your body. Notice your heartbeat, the warmth in your hands, or the gentle flow of breath. Over time, you'll find that tuning into these signals becomes almost automatic, allowing you to respond more skillfully to your environment. Also, engaging in activities like walking in nature or practicing gentle stretches can heighten your sensitivity to energy shifts, helping you spot subtle changes before they fully manifest. The key is consistency. The more you practice sensing your pulse, the more natural it becomes to perceive the energetic currents running through your life, ultimately sharpening your insight and resilience in everyday moments. Your invitation. From the moment you begin to pay attention to the subtle sensations, feelings, and vibrations that surround and flow through you, life starts to shift in a quiet, yet powerful way. Energy isn't just a vague concept, it's the very essence of your experience. You can think of it as a constant stream of signals that reveal what's happening inside your body and mind, as well as in your environment. When you learn to recognize and interpret these signals, they become a kind of compass, guiding you toward clarity, calm, or even a sense of connection that you might not have noticed before. Instead of trying to control or suppress these energies, start viewing them as a trusted source of guidance. For instance, if you get a gut feeling about a decision or sense a shift in your mood without any clear reason, that's energy speaking. It's your inner compass trying to communicate, reminding you to pause, reflect, or proceed. Over time, tuning into this energy becomes easier, almost like strengthening a relationship. You develop a kind of dialogue with yourself, where your intuition and awareness become allies rather than mystic mysteries. This process isn't about perfection, but about becoming more familiar with the natural flow that exists within and around you. To get started, find moments during your day when you can pause and observe. Notice how your body feels. Are your shoulders tense, your stomach in knots, or do you feel relaxed? Pay attention to your breathing. Is it shallow or deep? Observe the sounds and sights around you, and notice how your energy reacts. It's helpful to think of energy as an invisible, yet impactful force that shapes your experiences. The more you practice tuning into it, the quicker your internal signals will become clear. Trusting that energy as a guiding light means learning to accept what it reveals, even if at first it's just subtle whispers rather than loud voices. Everyone has their own rhythm, a pulse that drives their thoughts, feelings, and actions. Rather than trying to conform to external expectations or follow generic advice, tapping into your personal pulse can unlock a deep sense of power. This internal rhythm is the unique feeling of what excites you, what aligns with your values, or what pushes you to grow. When you start to embrace it instead of suppressing it or ignoring it out of fear or doubt, you find a wellspring of motivation that propels you forward naturally. Your pulse is more than just your heartbeat. It's an ongoing signal of your truth, your desires, and your potential. Think of discovering your pulse as similar to tuning a musical instrument. When you're in tune, every note you play sounds authentic and resonant. When you pay close attention to your thoughts and feelings, you notice patterns that reveal your strengths, passions, and even areas where you may feel misaligned or stuck. These insights help you shape a life that feels more genuine and fulfilling, rooted in your unique sense of purpose. The more you listen to your pulse, the more it becomes a trusted guide, lighting the way for decisions, relationships, and daily choices. To embrace your pulse, start regularly asking yourself what really matters to you. Notice what activities energize you and which ones drain your spirit. Create space for reflection, whether through journaling, meditation, or simple quiet moments. Recognize that your pulse might reveal small shifts or surprises, like a new interest or a lingering discomfort, that point toward your deeper purpose. When faced with choices, tune into your inner rhythm and see which option resonates most deeply. Over time, this practice helps you cultivate a strong connection to your own power, leading you toward discovery and fulfillment that feels natural and right for you. Your pulse isn't just a personal signal, it's an invitation to live from your core instead of external pressures. Practicing this awareness isn't something you do once and forget. It's an ongoing process of listening, understanding, and adjusting. Regularly slowing down to check in with yourself can transform your entire perspective. Whether during a quiet morning or a busy afternoon, taking quick moments to reconnect with your energy and pulse keeps your sense of purpose aligned. Trust that this inner rhythm is always present, whispering truths that, when heeded, can open doors you never knew existed. Remember, every step you take toward understanding your energy and pulse is a step closer to living authentically and embracing your unique journey. Final spark. Understanding that the pulse, or the core energy of life, is present everywhere can be a powerful realization. This isn't just about believing in some abstract force. It's about feeling the constant vibrancy that flows through every part of existence. Whether you're sitting quietly, walking outside, or engaging in your daily routines, this pulse exists, connecting everything and everyone. Recognizing this can make you feel less separate from the world since the same energy courses through you as well as through the trees, animals, and even the inanimate objects around us. When you become aware of this, it shifts your perspective from seeing yourself as a small, isolated entity to a vital part of a larger, interconnected rhythm. In this moment, take a breath and genuinely notice how alive you feel. This is a sign that the pulse is actively moving within you, and it's always there, waiting to be acknowledged. Many people go through their days caught up in thoughts about past regrets or future worries, losing sight of the present moment's living pulse. But when you consciously remind yourself that this pulse exists within you, it encourages a deep sense of presence. It's as if you're tuning into a heartbeat that never stops, a rhythm that binds your entire being. By doing so, you can begin to notice subtle sensations, your heartbeat, the rise and fall of your chest, the tiny vibrations that accompany your every moment. This awareness is not about forcing yourself into a meditative state, but about gently anchoring your attention in the here and now. With consistent practice, this recognition can become second nature, grounding you in a sense of vitality that never truly leaves your side, regardless of external circumstances. Living the pulse fully means engaging with each moment, no matter how ordinary it may seem. It's about more than just noticing life. It's about immersing yourself into the experience of being alive. Feel what's happening around you and within you without judgment or resistance. When you consciously connect with this energy, even mundane activities like drinking a glass of water or walking down the street can turn into acts of presence. The key is to feel the sensation, to truly see what is happening instead of just observing superficially. As you deepen your awareness, you start to radiate a vibrancy that naturally draws others in. Others pick up on your genuine aliveness, and in doing so, you become a catalyst for positivity and connection around you. This isn't about acting or pretending. It's about allowing yourself to be fully present, so your natural vitality can shine through authentically. Living in such a way makes every moment a chance to contribute the best of yourself. When you feel deeply, you create a ripple effect that encourages others to do the same. Your presence can inspire confidence, calm, or joy in those around you, simply because you're grounded in a true experience of life. Embracing this way of being turns every encounter into an exchange of authentic energy. It's like becoming a living example of what it means to be fully alive, encouraging others to reconnect with their own inner pulse. To do this consistently, pause often throughout your day, take a few deep breaths, and remind yourself that you are a vibrant, breathing part of something much larger. This simple practice keeps you aligned with the energy that sustains life and helps you express it openly. Ultimately, the more you lean into feeling this pulse and living it out loud, the more natural it becomes to embody this vibrancy. It's not about trying to be perfect, but about allowing yourself to be real and present. When you do, you become a vessel for positive energy, radiating calm, strength, and vitality. This, in turn, influences those around you, creating a cycle of openness and genuine connection. Nothing in your external environment needs to change for you to tap into this power, just your awareness and willingness to be present. Over time, this practice deepens your experience of life and transforms ordinary moments into opportunities for expression and growth. Remember, the pulse is always within you. Your task is simply to recognize it and live in harmony with it each day. Thank you for feeling this with me. If you've made it this far, I hope you can feel what I've felt all along. You're not alone. You never were. There is a current that moves through us, between us, around us. You felt it. You've trusted it, or maybe you're just starting to. Either way, thank you for your time, your heart, your energy. This wasn't just a book to read. It was a space to feel. If something here sparked something in you, hold on to it. Follow it. Let it change the way you walk into rooms, talk to people, treat yourself. Let it shape your choices. Let it remind you that you are the pulse. You don't need to find it, it's already within you. Until we meet again, keep feeling, keep flowing, and never forget, your energy is your essence. Use it well, with gratitude and light. Mindful Literary.